Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 64th Comic Art Fans Update. I'm Bill Cox, for those of you who've not been to this show before. And I know we've got a big audience tonight, a little bit different than we normally would do because we've got a special show tonight, and we're also broadcasting on Metropolis Collectibles Facebook and YouTube channel. So we've got several special guests tonight, and I want to bring in Vincent and Micah from Metropolis. How are you guys doing this evening? Hey, you guys hear me?
Hello?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Hello?
I see Vincent is trying to text me.
Can you hear us, Bill?
I can hear you just fine.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Let's see what we got going on here. Everything was working good. It looks like it's fine. I've got everything. Can everybody hear me just fine?
I can't hear you. Sometimes that's so weird. You can hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him, but I have my headphones in.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like maybe your mic is off or something, or your speakers are down.
I'm going to leave and come back.
All right. So everybody can hear you guys, but you can't hear me. So that doesn't help because you won't be able to hear any of the guests that we bring in.
So everybody can hear us, but we can't hear anybody.
That is right, gentlemen.
I don't know what to do.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I mean, hey, this is we're
That's not the mute button. Tried that already. Bill,
yeah.
We're going to leave and come back.
That sounds like a plan. You heard me earlier. All right, so we will be right back with Vincent and Micah. So I hope everybody's having a good time. I know that this is kind of like a special New York Comic-Con show because we finally have a show in New York again after being off last year. I'm, of course, not there. I wish I could be. A lot of my friends are there. All the dealers that I work with are there, by and large. And I've gotten a lot of photos from the show today. So everybody who went, I hope they had a fun time, safe time, and picked up some original art. I can't wait for next week because I'm sure that CAF update is going to be filled with a lot of video clips from the show that I've got 3 or 4 people shooting while they're there. So we're gonna have a lot of fun things to go over next week's Comic Art Fans Update. But yeah, so technical problems happen. We've run into these every now and again. But I'm glad everybody's here. Dino, I would have thought you would still be having fun at the show, or maybe you didn't go today. I was expecting you to be out there, but I didn't get any pictures from the show with you in them. So maybe you weren't there today. But it's good to see Grant and Brett, and of course Jordan. I saw you pop in earlier. And and Ardeth, you're even here. All right, fantastic. So I'm glad my regulars are here, and it's gonna. Oh, and here we go. They're back in. So hopefully we can. Oh, good. You went to New York Comic Con today. Well, Dino, maybe I should. I'm sure you shot some video, but maybe we can have you on as a guest next week, and we can talk a little bit about the show because I'd like to hear from some of the people who were actually there, and that would be a lot of fun. Well, they were here, but they're not. But let's talk about that after the show, Dino. That would be a lot of fun to at least get a couple guests on that got to get out there and buy some art. I hope somebody shouted to Anthony, what's his best priced, at least once. So that would be, I would appreciate that. We can make some memes out of there. And sorry, I'm just looking through some of the chats here. All right, now they're back. Let me bring them into the stream. Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yes. Perfect. Yes.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. I mean, we're really just getting started. There weren't too many people in the stream, but it's picking up now. So I'm glad we got the technical problems worked out. How are you guys doing? Were you both at the show today?
No, I was there.
I was here.
Okay.
Running around like a whirling dervish.
Yes, and I was at the convention running around like a whirling dervish. All I can tell you guys is that New York Comic Con was fantastic today. There were a lot of very serious diehard collectors. We sold a ton of comic books, some very high figure comic books, as well as some great artwork. There was the artist alley wasn't as robust as it normally is. Well, it has been, but it was good, all things considered, with COVID and everything. And I have to commend New York Comic Con. Reed Pop did an incredible job of getting everybody in a very quick manner, and also making sure everybody was safe. And I think people were very respectful, wearing their masks, and it was really something I was concerned about, but was beautiful.
I'll be there tomorrow if anybody wants to come and hassle me for any reason.
I wish I could be there to do that. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Vincent. I saw that they had a lot of different check-in processes that they were going to do, and I was worried that was going to slow the entry down for a lot of the attendees. But I'm glad it worked out. I saw a lot of photos from the show. It looked like there was a decent sized crowd. I mean, not as large as you would normally have on a Thursday, but
speaking to other years, but fun, and a lot of people. For anybody who's listening, anybody who's in the area, tomorrow evening we will be having our live first art gallery opening since the pandemic. This is in almost 2 years since our last one. We did have the virtual show with Sean Murphy, which was fantastic. But tomorrow night will be an opening where we'll have actual people in our gallery for the first time in 2 years. It's really exciting for us. And I couldn't think of anybody, any other guys better to kick this off than Simone and Ken, both really fantastic artists in their own right. Simone, obviously, an extremely talented painter. Ken also worked in a variety of different mediums, including pencil and ink, pen and ink. And Ken, just a veritable tour de force when it comes to the variety of characters he's worked on and the breadth and length that he's been working in industry. He really is, in my opinion, a very underrated but also highly respected. If a person can be both those things at the same time, I think that a lot of people just don't know how damn good he is. He's just such an incredibly talented guy, and the people who do know very well.
Oh, without question. I mean, both Simone and Ken are very well collected on Comic Art Fans. I mean, I checked out before the show. Both have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of collected artworks in our CAF galleries from several hundred collectors. So they're very well collected, and I agree. I've appreciated Ken's work for a very long time. I've got a few pieces by Simone as well. So I mean, he and I've have had some commerce in the past. So so I'm really happy that we were able to bring both of these gentlemen on, and I think we wanted to have Simone be the first guest this evening, right?
Yeah, fantastic.
All right.
Because it is very, very late at night
in Italy.
That's what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking. So let me bring Simone into here and welcome him to the show. Oh, there you go. How you doing this evening?
Buonasera.
Buonasera. Ciao Vincenzo. I'm doing great, Bill. Thanks for asking. And the thing is that trying to get as fresh and as responding as possible, I thought to myself, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take a little nap right after dinner. Because it's 2 o'clock, 2:10 in the night here. So I took this little nap, which happened to be not that little, and I couldn't wake up. So my wife actually woke me up and screaming at me, "Hey, it's 2 o'clock! You gotta run upstairs, and you gotta do your thing with Vincent, Micah, and Bill." So here I am. Hopefully, I am clear and understandable as possible. But it's a pleasure. I mean, it's a very uncommon experience for me. After the pandemic, of course, I had my own personal exhibition over at Vincent, the Metropolis Gallery in 2018 for the Marvel Masterpieces show, which went down like a storm, and I couldn't be any happier. So here we go again. I can start to talk about the pieces and to talk with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
So one of the things that sorry, there's a lot of questions here.
I just want to answer one question.
Artist Bay.
We will absolutely trade comics for art.
Yes, you can reach out to us and we'll try to work something out for you. It's a lot of questions on the show on the chats. So one of the things I just wanted to say was Simone and I and Gloria have become friends over the years, and it was a slow moving process. And then when we were in Lake Como in Italy, we sat down to dinner and really started to flesh out what the first show would be. And I believe the Marvel Masterworks was Masterpieces. I'm sorry, I always get Masterpieces, Masterworks confused, but was just such a tremendous show for us. The number of pieces that Simone was able to put together was astounding, and the quality of the work was astounding, to the point where I can honestly tell you that we're still selling pieces from that show today. I just had somebody about a month ago, I think, spent over $40,000 with us on art. So just a fantastic, and it's a testament to the skill, the level of quality. And what I am excited about is now we have these new pieces that are like a breath of fresh air, reinvigorating the artists and reinvigorating us as curators. And we're so happy that we're going to be able to share these with the comic art community, starting today and tomorrow for sale, starting at 6 p.m. on Metropolis Gallery, NYCC.com. And I believe it'll be on our website, comicconnect.com as well. MetropolisComics.com. So MetropolisComics.com, Metropolis Gallery, NYC.com at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. The artwork will be on sale. And it is really exciting because there's so many great pieces. I have a few favorites, which I definitely want to share with everybody later on. But Simone, it was such a pleasure to kind of, we have the published work that you've given to us to sell for you, but it was also fun working together on different ideas for commission or that we came up with. And one of my favorites, I love that you did the Kiss Destroyer. Your feelings on it.
I knew you were mentioning it, and yes, as Vincent said, we were not in Lake Como, actually, Vincent. We were in London.
You're right.
We were in London, and actually, the first time that we started to talk about the possibility of putting together this exhibition was in Dubai. I was setting up my own booth, and you came over and just to say hi, and right away you were asking me, hey, what are you working on and stuff like that, and I just got started working on those pieces, which were 135 paintings for my friends over at Upper Deck, and that's when you said, hey, we should do a show with those pieces over at Metropolis. And then we start to talk about that and move forward to a few months. We got together in London because the night before that dinner, you were over at Jonathan. You remember that?
Where was I? Oh, yes, Jonathan.
Yeah, and I remember perfectly. And so we sit down in an Indian restaurant, me, you, and my sister, and agent, and art dealer, Gloria, and we start to talk about the details. So time flies, and time flew back then. So as usual, we found ourselves at New York Comic Con 2018 with the whole gallery show put together, and it was really an unbelievable response from collectors, guys, friends from all over the world. And I really I will never be able to thank Vincent and all the guys working at this show enough for what we were able to put together. And I mean, that was the story. That was the story of the first exhibition, which is nothing compared to the next exhibition. And as Vincent was saying, it's true. I remember me and Vincent, we usually talk on WhatsApp and sending messages and stuff on WhatsApp. Vincent, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And during one of these brief conversation, I remember him telling me, hey, Simone, you should seriously start thinking about saving some art That way we could put together another show soon at the gallery. Now, this happened about a year ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And actually, Vincent, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were supposed to open the exhibition way before today, because originally we were gonna open the show I think in June maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was so behind with the pieces, and I was so into this that I wanted to give Vincent nothing but the best. So we kept moving and moving the opening day until the moment when Vincent actually told me and Gloria, "Hey guys, let's do the same thing we did 3 years ago, and we will do the opening day the exact first day of New York Comic Con." And that's what happened. Meanwhile, while I was working on the covers that you guys have hanging in your gallery, and I was working on the other pieces, Vincent came up with this crazy idea of the recreation of Destroyer, the historical Kiss record cover, and on my first reaction was very unusual. I was a little how can I put it, like unsure to whether paint that piece or just paint something else, some other recreation, some other ideas. But then I start to do some little research on that image, what that image represented for so many American people, and of course so many Europe fans for the band, and especially for the fans themselves, that I actually start to think, hey, actually he would be great, and it's been great. I mean, I can't wait to show people and fans and collectors the piece that we actually put together, me and Vincent. I mean,
yeah. So, I tried to think about pieces that people would be thrilled to own in terms of a recreation. This is there we go. And Kiss is always one of my favorite bands, and I can't think of any musical group that's closer to a group of superheroes than Kiss. And so I remember this beautiful Kelly cover from the 70s, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we did Simone's version? And here it is, and it is just so much fun. Right now, it looks like it's actually moving. They're all dancing. And so, when you look at that, it really is very reminiscent, but also has a certain originality to it because the color palettes are a little different, the textures are a little different. And I think when you see them in person, you really get a better feel for that. We also thought of classic comic book covers to redo. One of my all-time favorites is Superman versus Spider-Man, to your left.
Yes.
And so that piece is coming up in a second. You'll see.
Yeah.
Is when I was a little boy, that was one of my favorite covers ever. It's
me too. Yeah.
What's that?
Me too. It was one of my favorite all-time cover. One of my favorite image.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's funny that you were mentioning this piece, because this was it's actually one of the few pieces that we didn't post on our socials yet. So it's a brand new first time view of the painting.
Yeah, and so for me as a little boy, I loved the marble, like the Treasury Edition style that this came in, and I think again Simone added something really special to it with the heat vision being shot out by Superman, and it's just got that kind of retro and modern feel to it, and a timeless classicism to it that really, really speaks to Simone's talents as a painter, but also to the material itself. When you think about this great battle, two of the greatest superheroes from the two of the greatest comic book companies, and here you have it on one cover. This is a conversation piece. Anytime you look at, people are going to start talking about this. It's that type of piece. I'm sorry.
I just want to add. I think it's great when new creators pay their respects to the past. We never want to get to a point where we forget where all the stuff came from, and and the recreations that you did, or I call them reimaginings. I like them all. They're three of my favorite pieces in the whole show.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then to the left of that piece is another great one, with basically we thought about the Silver Surfer #4 cover, the original by John Buscema. By the way, the original of the Superman Spider-Man, Ross Andru. But this piece, Simone had this idea to put the Thing in place of Thor, which is great because when you think about it, Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four are a match made in heaven. This is where it all started. And what he also did, which I thought was great, is if you look in the background, you got Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, and of course the Human Torch. And it is just gorgeous. Seeing this in person is so much better than any scan or image or photography or video that you can imagine, because it is a knockout. It's that moment just before they're about to really get down and dirty, and they're about to lay haymakers into one another. It's a great piece.
Yeah, this is fabulous. I mean, it's a wonderful reimagining of that cover, and the Thing just looks so powerful, but he's battling the Surfer, who's infinitely more powerful than he is. It's a beautiful, beautiful image. Wonderful.
And then
I love it.
Next one was another classic cover, Hulk 181. And here, this has been reimagined many times. I think this one's really special. I like the chains. I like the image of Wolverine jumping forward. Hulk looks kind of surprised that he got hurt there for a minute. And it's just, I love the way Simone Bianchi paints Wolverine. It's one of my favorite characters, and he does just a special job on it.
To answer this question here, that the pieces are about 14 by 20, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Give or take. They're pretty big. They're about twice upsize.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Simone really works very well in larger images. Another piece that I think is really special is the Galactus. And to be quite candid, it's one of my favorite pieces in the show. Simone, you tell me. Sorry, there's a little bit of reflection there. Maybe
that's actually laser beams.
Yes, he's shooting laser beams.
Yeah, it looked like laser beams. Yeah.
Simone, tell me something. Were you thinking at all of Mobius when you painted this? Because I see this and I feel Mobius when I look at it.
No, I didn't think about it. But now that you tell me, I can see it. A clear quotation of his work. I mean, it's no secret that I do believe Moebius has been, if not one of the greatest, quite possibly the greatest comic book artist ever walked this earth.
I agree.
Wow.
And I love his all his body of work equally, whether it was Western or science fiction or fantasy or anything he touched, it was pure gold. So I would definitely, and of course, being European, being Italian, and having this French influence on us, of course, it's like having for us, it's like having the classical influences we do have every single day walking through the streets, you know? You don't even need to study up close all those amazing art we do have from the past and from the greatest artists from the Renaissance. And with the French artists, and particularly with Moebius, you know, you don't even need to. I mean, it's in our blood. So to answer your question, Vincent, I swear I wasn't consciously thinking about Moebius while painting the piece. But now that you pointed it out, I would definitely say there is a huge influence, and I'm glad there is, because it's me paying respect to one of the greatest ever, and to his vision especially.
Can I ask you a question, Simone?
No.
All right. Never mind. I was thinking, because looking at your work, I've looked at a lot of your work very closely over the past few weeks.
Sure.
I was curious what some of the Italian artists that you maybe read or that were influences on you, because there's a couple that occurred to me. So I was just curious what like older Italian cartoonists that were an influence.
You mean classic?
Well, when you were young or just starting.
I fumetti vecchi.
I fumetti vecchi. I mean, it's not by chance that we are talking about Galactus pieces, and we just talk about Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer, because of course my mentor through my first years was Claudio Castellini.
Man, it's great.
Who was quite possibly the first of our generation who actually started working on a regular basis with both Marvel and DC comics way back. I'm talking about early 90s. Mm-hmm. And if we see the world and the business side of the comic book world right now, these 30 years changed everything. Bill, I think you can agree with me too, right? I mean,
without question, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a complete different world, and you guys gotta understand that for us, for Italians, just thinking about working for this huge companies overseas was just a dream, because there was no internet. Everything was much more complicated. You actually had to move your ass and come to New York and show your portfolio.
I'm gonna share something. So today I was walking around New York Comic Con.
Okay.
I went down to the Artist Alley and I ran into a good friend of both of ours, Buzz.
Oh my God! Do we really need to talk about Buzz?
You're talking about your early days. You have to come to New York. So Buzz was laughing. He said, "You know, me and Michael Bear brought Simone to DC.
DC first.
DC first. And Simone had convinced his Italian publisher to fly him to New York to do some type of promotion, I guess, at the convention. And then he went off to meet with DC Comics to start talking to. Actually, I think it's perfectly fine and normal, but Buzz was laughing about the fact that, I helped get him his start in comic books, in American comic books.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the story goes even behind that, because the guy who actually brought me to New York or talked me to coming to New York to show my portfolio was our friend Sal Abbinanti, Alex Strauss' agent, right?
Yeah.
So Sal is like, I mean, you often say this, but it's, I mean, quite few times it's so kind of bullshit. But Sal, he's like a brother to me, and he is a brother to me. and the way he handled my the beginning of my career in art, in my artwork sales was just unbelievable. I could never be grateful enough to sell for doing what he did with me. He really took me by hand and introduced me little by little to everybody. And so actually he was, I mean, it was Sal idea to bring me to New York and to go to my first San Diego, which is a long story, which sooner or later I will describe. It was very first weird experience. But anyway, back then, the very first San Diego, that was 2004, almost 20 years ago. That's when I met Buzz and Michael Bear, and those two guys who I really love. I mean, Buzz, I miss Buzz so much. If by chance Buzz is watching us, I just want to send a heartfelt ciao and a big hug, because I mean those two guys were my friends where I living in New York, in Brooklyn, the first time in that summer 2004, and they were the one who actually gave me the chance to walk into the office, because I mean back then it was, I don't know how it is right now, but back then it was almost impossible for like a visitor to actually walk upstairs and go into the office and show. You absolutely had to know somebody else who actually would introduce you to editors or people working at the office. So yeah.
So there's another great piece on Iron Man piece. We just saw Thanos a second ago, and what would be really beautiful to take a look at is the what do we got next? Loki. I think this is gorgeous, the Loki.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces as well.
Yeah, it's also, when you think about the Loki series that was just on Disney Plus, and you remember that he goes to this other world where all the different Lokis are, and finally one of them is wearing the orange.
Ciao Paolo.
With the yellow.
I'm sorry that there's an Italian collector and he say, "Hey Simone, io ci sono." It's from Milan and it's 2:30 in Milan as well. So I want to say ciao.
Fantastic. And can we go over to the Conan, please? Let's get a good shot of the Conan. This piece is massive. Hold on a second. I just want to give you an idea of how massive it is. Look at how big this piece is. It's fantastic. It is. Conan happens to be one of my favorite characters. Conan 1 through 100 is one of my favorite series. The original, and anytime I could look at a Conan, read a Conan comic book, I'm happy, because I love Conan stories. It's a complete adventure, and you're all satisfied. It's almost like a James Bond movie. It's the same type of. There's great formula to it, and I think what I love about this piece is it really captures the brutal nature of Conan, but it also has a kind of almost a Far Eastern feel to it. It reminds me of Angkor Wat in Cambodia, with the trees growing out of the
Yes,
in the back.
exactly.
Yeah. So was that the idea?
Yes, it was. Absolutely. It was definitely the idea behind that.
Yeah, it's a great piece. And that was the cover of Conan #1.
Conan.
That was okay. This huge thick baby right here. It's an omnibus of Roy Thomas and my dear friend John Buscema story. So these are pretty much all the story Roy and John wrote and drew together for the character. So that was the cover for Oh, shit. Okay.
Let's
No,
do
I'm sorry.
That
was-
we really have to get moving on. We could talk to Simone for another hour, but we don't want to eat up all.
We're
of
gonna
those.
just run around the show a couple more of the pieces.
Okay, right now
Well-
I'm awake and I love talking to you guys. If you guys want to go ahead for for 5 more hours, I go get my breakfast, colazione, and we're good.
So what do we need to do?
Yeah, let's just go. We're just gonna go walk around a little bit. So if you want to just use the cell camera.
Yeah. So.
So we got next to Kiss over here.
This is the Avengers 750. That's not working.
Yeah, the camera's not reorienting itself there. I'm going to go full screen on this.
All right, thanks.
There we go.
Recently announced Simone's coverage of the Avengers number 750.
And with the She-Hulk TV show coming out soon,
Yeah.
this has a lot of potential as an investment piece. Yeah. Up here, the
Guys,
beautiful.
Guys, can you give me just 1 minute? I'll go downstairs, get myself something to drink, and I'll be right back.
It's good. Up here, this is a beautiful. Yeah, it's just, but it works. It's very reminiscent of Frank Frazetta, and it is just luxurious and beautiful, and has so many different elements to it. The background is gorgeous, the trees, everything.
The design of it is really wonderful.
All the colors play off one another really well. It's a gorgeous piece.
This is the best one here. This is the piece of the show. This piece.
Now, hey,
come here in person to see this painting.
I was going to say, Micah, they're going to be able to see that in person tomorrow, right? But we can't show it this evening.
And there's a Red Hood cover up here.
Red Hood.
Yeah. And then this is a page from Simone's story from the Joker 80th anniversary. It's a really beautiful page.
I love the Joker facing. It's got
Yeah.
eyes here and a mouth. It's upside down. He's right side up. It's really bizarre. It's crazy looking, and I think this is really cool.
I love the design of this page too. It's the way the like this, like the panel break is really nice. Yeah. There's a bunch more. There's lots more. There's more Conan. Everybody loves Conan.
Oh, that's the other Conan. Yes.
Beautiful.
And Spider-Man.
So it's the Spider-Man prelim here. More Spider-Man. Lots. Cyborg. There's some for people who like black and white art. We got some panel pages too. It's a double spread from New Avengers. It's a Astonishing X-Men. This page is old. Astonishing X-Men. Joker pieces. This is a pretty great prelim, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like the way he has Medusa hair with the snakes in his hair.
And with this gigantic piece up here that we almost forgot about because it's so huge. It's hanging above our doorway. This Star Wars piece is it's pretty great.
So this is that moment, close to that moment in Empire Strikes Back, where Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father. I don't know if anybody knows, but I found this out by looking at during Father's Day. They had Father's Day in a bunch of different languages, and it said Vader. So Vader in Dutch means father. So Darth means dark. Darth Father is Darth Vader's name. I didn't realize. Should have been a giveaway.
This one here. This is one of my favorite pieces in the show too. This Two-Face. The texture in this piece is stunning. Like there's even actually some stuff down here where it's actually like looks like paper.
It's paper. Yes, it's paper glued on top of the board. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like this piece a lot. This is one of the recent Batman black and whites, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah, really nice. And there's more. You can see it all if you come here. Oh my, I can't let this one go. After this one, we really got to move on. But so this cover is also gigantic, and it's
this piece is extraordinary. It's just vicious.
Yeah.
it's drooly is what it is.
It's truly.
Vince pointed out we got to show one more. This Joker result.
Yeah, the multiverse who laughs. So what I love about this is if you see this in person, the texture is it's almost looks like a fine print, but it's not. I don't know what technique you used on this one, Simone, that's different than the others, but it's got this. It's very unique
thickness.
Was there a different technique you used in this one?
No, it's the very same technique that I use on that other two-face piece, and it's basically it's acrylic, thick acrylic layer where I go over and paint over. So I use acrylic as a base, you know, as a first layer, very, very thick. I let it dry, perfectly dry. I use my hair dryer too. And then when the first layer, either if it's dark or if it's white or any other given color, when it's perfectly dry, I go over it and paint with an opposite color. So let's say if the first layer is black, I usually go over with much lighter colors up until white, and the other way around. If I start with white or you know, like warm light first layer of acrylic, which it turns out to be almost like a tridimensional, like a sculpture, you know, and then I go over it with a darker color.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us at the wee hours.
Yeah, and Simone, again, thank you. This is really exciting. It's really fun. I can't wait to send some video to show you all the attendance tomorrow. Maybe if it's not too late, because it'll be, I think, 11 o'clock by you. If we want to put him on with Zoom and maybe have some people, him and Ken, you could say hello to some
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
We have Italian journalists coming tomorrow to cover the show, so that's really exciting. And I think it's going to be a beautiful night. I'm looking forward to it. I wish it was Friday, 6 p.m. already.
Yeah, so it's 6 p.m. tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Which means it's gonna be midnight. Sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to do this Zoom thing and talk to your clients and collectors. It's 6 hours difference, and I will be 100% open to answer all the questions about it.
I have a great idea. If you buy a piece, you can talk to Simone for 5 minutes. We talk to nobody.
It's a great idea.
We talk to the hand.
There are lots of prelims and sketches.
Yeah.
There is affordable artwork from Simone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is actually the whole Astonishing X-Men Ghost Box storyline in layouts from page 1 all the way to the last page of the last issue.
Oh, wow.
All right. So, Simone, thank you. Now you're allowed to go back to bed. Tell your wife and your kids thank you very much. And hopefully the next time we do an art show with you, you'll be here in person again.
Absolutely. I would love F to come, but I mean this time it's too much of a
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much again.
Yeah, everybody don't go anywhere because we've got Ken Lashley coming up in a second. And Simone, thank you so much and have a beautiful night.
Okay, you too, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Bill, Micah, Vincent.
Very nice
Much
seeing you
love
again.
to all of you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Bye.
This question here from Mel. The art will go on sale tomorrow online at Metropolis Gallery, NYC.com at 6 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow.
All right, I was gonna, before we brought Ken on, I wanted to clear that up too, because I had a few people asking in the chat about when was the opportunity to buy online. So it's going to be on both the Metropolis Gallery and Comic Connect.
No, metropoliscomics.com.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
GalleryNYC.com.
And
Got
maybe
it.
Comic Art fans could maybe put out a plug. I don't know, maybe.
That's why I'm trying to make sure I've got it square too, because there's actually a couple pieces I might want to buy. So,
Yeah, honestly,
6 p.m. tomorrow.
there's something for everybody in the show. It's really, really beautiful. But that's another thing we really try to do. So we know not everybody has
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern, right?
We know not everybody has the ability to spend maybe $10,000 on a piece. So we have a price range that varies tremendously, and we wanted to do that because we believe the entry-level collectors of art of today are the mega buyers of tomorrow. And that's something I was taught very early on in my career, that you treat everybody with the same level of respect, whether they're spending $50 with you or $50,000 or $5 million. It doesn't matter. You treat them equally, and you treat them with respect and courtesy, and you cater to them, and eventually things start to blossom. And
Exactly.
I've seen it happen a million times.
So let's bring in Ken.
Yes, let's bring Ken in. Ken is busy working, but I'm sure he can take a break from his time at the drawing table. There he is. Hey, Ken.
The legend.
I don't know about that. I'll take it though.
It's so great to have you on, buddy.
Look at this professional microphone.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
that was amazing. Before we started, that was amazing. I had it in the background. I was drawing. That was an amazing thing to see his work. And because you never get to see that stuff up close. It's just you just see, that's great. You see printed, but I mean, the texture stuff must be amazing to see it in person. So I've always been a big fan of his work. I thought he was pretty amazing, and it's pretty awesome to see.
I think all art it's a different level of appreciation when you can see it with your eyes.
Absolutely.
And even when you're seeing it reproduced as a comic book, there's a very different feel. And sometimes I gotta say, sometimes I look at the comic book and I like it more in color than I do black and white. And I see black and white art, and sometimes the exact opposite.
It's always better in black and white. I don't know what you're talking about.
What I was going to say, Ken, was what was looking at your artwork, which is just dynamic and fantastic on so many different levels. But seeing it in black and white, you really get an appreciation of the level of detail you're going into to bring out an image. And also, I think even as important is the ability to tell a story. That's something that I think today gets lost a little bit with a lot of artists that you see set up at these shows, aspiring artists who all they're doing is pinups. They think it's 1992 again.
I said it in 93, so I know what you're talking about. But I really feel kind of bad for them a little bit, because even now when I'm getting assignments, you get like 4 or 5 assignments a week, and most of the assignments are a cool shot of whoever, and there's very little, like, I don't read the scripts, and there's no scripts being sent to me, and you sort of have to extrapolate what's going to happen and sort of figure something out, and you ask for some kind of information, like tell me who's in it at least, right? And then they might give you that. And then you go from there. But the business is really covers, and people don't understand that. They think that it's trying to sell these wicked pictures, all this other stuff, but it's really about selling a cover, and the cover has to be dynamic, it has to be exciting. And I'm old school. Like I learned, Barry Windsor Smith of the world, and those are the guys that's who I cut my teeth on, learning, like looking at their work and saying, oh my goodness, like Billy Graham's of the world. I mean, like looking at that stuff and saying, holy smoke, that's a whole other class of artists. But those are the kind of people that I loved and that kind of stuff. And so all their covers were storytelling. All their covers were, a tidbit of what's going on in the story. And all those covers were, and that's, as a cover artist now, when I'm doing, 15 covers a month, you try to get a little bit of the story in there if you can, and so, it's a better cover when you can. It's 100% a better cover when you can extrapolate a little bit of the story. So
you don't want to sell somebody something that they're not going to get.
Kinda. I kind of like that. I want to be able to say, oh, this is what you're gonna get.
I mean, and the variant covers are, sometimes with there's all these theme variant covers going on. It's like fine, that's a different thing.
Certainly
But covers should represent the story contained in the book.
Yeah, if you can. I mean, that sometimes you just can't, right? It's just based on the timelines, and I've been.
Those are
Oh,
created
we forgot to get.
now.
I forgot to get this cover done. It's Thursday. We need it for Monday. It has to be fully done. It's like that's part of the business too. And you're like, okay, who's on it? I mean, and then Deadpool. Okay, we're good. And then off you go, right? So
Yeah.
that's part of the business as well.
So Ken, I wanted to first, there's a bunch of questions I can answer really quick. The exhibit is going to last, I think, at least a few months. We don't really have an end date yet. So
At least through the end of the year.
yeah, and then Bill Lawson, that's such a kind comment. First time in the gallery changed my life. Surely that's wow. Thank you so much. I mean, we've had Frazetta, we've had the Hildebrands, we've had John Cassidy, J. Scott Campbell, Simone, Sean Murphy, now Ken Lashley. It's just a thrill for us as huge fans of the medium, of the art form in general, to be able to do this. This is like a pleasure project for me. This is a dream come true. I've always felt that comic book art is the greatest American art form there is. And
Suck it, Jazz.
yeah, suck it, Jazz. Like Jazz. But my point being, starting out in this business and going to parties and people saying, Dave, what do you do for a living? I sell comic books. But what do you really do? Or what do you do for a living? I sell comics. Can you make a living doing that? Or artwork? And so it's always been a chip on my shoulder in trying to bring up and elevate the art form, comic books as an investment, comic art as an investment, as a collectible, as something that you could hang proudly in your home. And I have to say that this is part and parcel of that evolution, of that change that I want to see in the general population and amongst even comic book collectors and comic art collectors, to really understand this is something to be incredibly proud of. This is not an easy thing to accomplish. And that piece in and of itself scares the crap out of me.
It was a lot of fun to draw. I get for once in a while. I'm more of a monster guy, but I don't get a lot of monster work. I get a lot of superhero stuff. I'm more of an X-Men guy. Superhero is my thing. So getting a chance to draw some crazy Dungeons and Dragons monsters, I was like, let's do this.
Can you get the bottom of that, Bill?
Hello.
Hello.
There you go. I didn't notice that when I first looked at it, but you're right. Now I'm prepared.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. But that's the nature of the business. Doing fun stuff like this. I don't think people would recognize me as Ken Lashley. That would be a Ken Lashley piece. They'd say, "Oh, who did that?" And I say, "Oh, Ken did that." Oh, it's like I love doing that kind of stuff, and I don't get a very chance to do it very often.
Maybe we should take a little walk around the gallery and show some of the pieces.
Sure.
And again, Ken, this has been, by the way, everybody, this has been a long time in the making. Ken and I have been friends for years.
Long time.
I wanted him to do an art gallery show with us.
Sure.
And I'm so happy that we finally were able to get this together.
Yeah.
And I know, Ken, you keep a lot of the artwork that you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't sell a lot of it. I mean, I don't move. I just keep it. I mean, it's one of those things where I get a lot of people interested in talking to me about it. But at this point, I just sort of like, all the Black Panther stuff. I have pretty much all of it. From my run, I have pretty much all that stuff, and I've kept a fair bit of it. I mean, so. This is exciting for me too, and people may not understand this. People think, it's you're professional. You just you sell your stuff. It's just like, but getting a chance to be a Canadian, having a gallery showing in New York City is kind of a feather in the cap. It's one of those things where whether you collect or not, or you're just a fan of the art, you always want to be respected by your peers. So having an opportunity to have a gallery showing in New York City is a dream come true. So it's actually pretty amazing to be part of Metropolis Gallery. It's a phenomenal experience, great reputation, all that jazz. But it's just amazing to be a part of something like this with another talented artist. And I wish I could be there. It's one of those things in life where a lot of things happen in life, and this is a crazy time. So I just wanted to know that I appreciate it more than sometimes you don't tell people you don't tell people when something really exciting happens, and you just kind of go with the flow. But I will say that this is very exciting for me, and And I'm in my new studio space, so I finally had to move out of my house. So I updated my house. I had the smallest room in the house because I have 2 girls, and they basically took over the big room. I had a beautiful room with a skylight and a seating area, and that's my daughter's room. She kicked me out basically. So I was like, well, I need to get a studio space. So I finally got this space about 3 months ago now, and it is a showcase of art. So it has this whole wall to the left of me. Maybe I might turn it a little bit. This show is just my art collection, and on there is pieces I've got from Vincent, and there's other places that I've gone. But I've got I got a Garcia Lopez up there and 2 John Burns up there, and you know what I mean. And it's part of my collection. So I understand the craziness of collecting. I'm not just one of the guys who just draw their stuff and send it off and that's it. I have a collection too, and I love to collect, and I spend as much money. I'm in the line. I'm right behind these people who are buying stuff, and I'm going to tell you a funny quick story. I was in San Diego when I was doing a sketch, and I just did a commission for somebody, and he paid me the fee. And I literally, I'm not joking, I took the fee in my hand, and I went to the booth next to me, and I bought a piece of original artwork. I may have had the money in my hand for maybe 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, because I maybe checked to see, but that's all I did. I went like this, because I think that's the best time to buy it, right? Like you're like, here we go. I'm not taking this into my home. It's under my bank account. It's going right here. It's at the show. Let's just move it around. All right.
Believe me, I completely understand.
Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the things in life I'm such a super fan, right? So I just love this stuff. I mean, I grew up in Canada as a kid who wanted to draw comics. I was that kid. Everyone said, "Oh my goodness, you want to draw comic books? You're a black guy from Canada. How's that going to work?" Right? And I said, "Well, I want to work in Marvel Comics," and that was my focus. I wanted to work in Marvel, not even any place else, just Marvel. And when I got my first job at Marvel, I'm not going to lie to you, it was very emotional. My first job was Age of Apocalypse. And that was my first job. I think I was 2 issues into my career when Age of Apocalypse came to be.
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
It was pretty amazing to start off that in a crazy idea. And I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't draw for a lick. I'm still working on that. But it's one of those things where you start off with this phenomenal opportunity. And get a chance to draw comics, and it became an iconic book. Even now, 20 years later, I'm still, when I go to shows, it's like, hey, Nightcrawler from Age of Apocalypse. Hey, could you draw? And those are half of the sketches I do are still from the very first gig I did 20-something years ago.
Do you still have some of that art in your personals?
Yes, I do. I have a double-page spread of Sentinels going over New York City.
Wow.
I still have that.
I have a quick story to share. About 3 weeks ago, a friend of mine who is a distributor for Juul e-cigarettes, he distributes other types of products, including rolling papers. Okay. And Mike Tyson licensed his name to these rolling papers.
Okay.
A Dutch company. And I got to meet Mike Tyson at this event.
No way. That's so cool.
So I walked up to him and I go, "Hey, how you doing? I hear you're the Vincent Zurzolo of boxing." No, I'm just kidding.
You want to get knocked out, don't you? You want to get knocked out right through.
So,
wow, that's
my friend introduces me and says, "Hey, this guy's big in comic books." He says, "I love comic books." I go, yeah. "Wow." I said, "Who's your favorite character?" And Tyson looks at me and goes, "Apocalypse."
Oh, that's fair. That's what I expected, though. If you were to say, "Hey, guess, Ken," I probably would say that Apocalypse.
And then I shook his hand, and his hand was about like the size more than 2 of my hands put together.
Really?
It was like the Thing. It was like shaking hands with it. Like just. I can't even imagine what it must have felt like to get punched by that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
Some things you just don't want to. Sometimes you don't want to imagine those things. You let them be, right?
But it's thrilling to talk to him for a few minutes. And then I posted a picture on Facebook, and one of my friends said, "Oh yeah, he used to come into the comic book shop, and I gave him a copy of X Factor number 5."
Wow.
Is it 6? The first Apocalypse. I think it's 6, 5, 6.
It's one of those.
Action 1, Superman, Age of Apocalypse. So we're moving around the gallery.
We're having mobile camera issues.
So good. So good.
There we go. So let's talk. So I was able to pry Ken to give us some of those Black Panther pages.
Yeah.
So because Ken was lucky enough to draw the storyline where Shuri becomes Black Panther, is ever so timely. I mean, unfortunately timely, but timely nonetheless.
Yeah.
So
These were pretty interesting pages to draw because they were at a time where Black Panther at the time was sort of a C level, B level character, you know. And I remember when they approached me and asked me to do this, and I told Axel, I said, "Hey, don't give me Black Panther if you're not going to make this guy an A-list character." And he started laughing, and I was like, "Okay," because no one had really done the treatment for it. No one, they'd done some good books here and there, but I said, if you give me a chance to draw this stuff, I'm gonna watch out. And I remember sending in the first batch of pages. And Axel sent me a message. He called me and said, "Dude, this is insane." And then he's like, "This is changing. This is changing." And even now, I'd say it's one of my favorite runs of all my entire career, is because we were meshing as an inker was meshing with me as well. So there were some things in there that he saw that I didn't see in my work, because I hadn't done a lot of interior work at that time. I'd done some spot things here and there. But I was predominantly doing cover works at the time. So I said, when getting a chance to do this Black Panther thing was my favorite character growing up. My mom bought me the classic Black Panther fighting the KKK issue that she bought that for me. I don't think she ever read it, but it doesn't make any sense. It was like KKK all over the cover. And I remember reading that as a kid, not quite understanding what it meant, what these things meant, because in Canada, racism is different in Canada. We have that same sort of history, but it's not the same. So I didn't understand what it really meant at the time, but getting a chance to draw Black Panther, it was a character that I really loved. So when this came up, an opportunity to work on it, it was an amazing thing. And I said, well, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do all the things I wanted to do, and other things that were probably script related, and they were saying, "Oh, don't do that or don't do this." This was one of those opportunities where they said, do whatever you think you want to do, go ahead and do it. There was even a couple of pages where they dropped out the dialogue because of my storytelling, I guess, was on point enough that they said, we don't need to put the dialogue in these scenes. And that's a great thing for me as an artist. At that time, I was really coming into my own. So it was great to do this stuff. I get to design Shiri's first suit. I get to design everything in there. It's like, there's nothing before this. There was nothing, a lot of stuff that could show me and say, well, here you go, and look at this, and look at this and try and match this. It wasn't any of that. It was sort of like, make this your own world. And it was great when I see Black Panther, and there was a scene in the first part of the movie where that page where the Panther God comes out, and I remember drawing that and sort of making that decision of how I would draw how would I draw the Panther God, how would I draw it, and to see someone that sort of basically had seen that scene in this and said, that's a good jumping on point, and of how the Panther God would interact with characters. And it was those 6 issues where, even to this day, it's probably my favorite thing that I've ever drawn, because and that's why they're so near and dear to my heart. It's a kid of color getting a chance to draw Black Panther. It doesn't happen. The synergy like that doesn't happen very often. Getting a chance to draw Black Panther and Storm. I will get mad at Reggie Hudlin though, because Reggie Hudlin in this, I remember when he sent me this script, it was like, he said miles and miles of corpses, and I go, dude, I got a deadline too, man. But it's like, but these are the things that happens, right? Like, you get a chance to draw these and really get a chance to stretch. I don't think people thought of my work at that time as a guy who could do stuff like this. I think I was more, he's a superhero guy. He does sort of mainstream stuff. It's this is where Ken is. And I think when those pages started to come in, I think they were, whoa, I think Ken is a lot, whoa, this is just different than what I thought Ken would do. But I think when you have a session where you have an artist who's really, in love with the work and getting a chance to showcase what they've always thought they could do, I think that's what happened on the Black Panther. Those 5 issues were pretty amazing.
Interesting that you say you haven't done a lot of interiors, because I wouldn't have guessed that from looking at these pages or looking at those stories. Yeah. The layout and the pacing, it's very confident.
Well, at that time, I first got my teeth cut on. It's a lot of things people don't realize about comic books in general. Like, you're going to get pigeonholed to what you start with. And when I first started with, I started with a group book. So Excalibur was a group book, and then you start off with trying to figure out how to lay out, put 7 characters in a shot and not make it look all messed up and convoluted and muddy. So you learn certain tricks along the way of how to do things. And I've always dreamt of, man, if I ever got a book with 1 character, man, I would like this thing, right? So getting a chance to draw just Black Panther, I got a chance to just do that. So that's why some of those pages are some of the. It was so much fun to draw. I mean, and Reggie is a great master storyteller, and it was just fun to work on those kinds of scripts and really push myself to do things that are out of my comfort zone. That's why those pages are near and dear. And it took a long time for me to decide to let a few of them go. I mean, it took a long time, and I don't know what happened. Vincent was, I don't know, he sent me some alcohol. I don't know what happened, but and I don't drink, so that's probably why you got some of those pages. But that's what I mean. You reach a point where you just go, I've got a lot of these. Maybe I can move a few of them, not too many of them, but I have, I've got a few that are near and dear that maybe if he sends me more alcohol, wink, wink, he might get a couple of those.
I gotta say, listening to you talking about them and having them here in person, it really it brings an extra dimension to it, knowing the story behind it and your connection to this. It's really beautiful. One thing I should point out, I see some questions. Just want to make sure that everybody knows. So this is an introduction to our art gallery show, Portraits of Power, with Simone Bianchi and Ken Lashley, two fantastic artists. The art gallery show starts tomorrow, Friday, at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 to 9 p.m. At 6 p.m., we're going to unleash the inventory, all the great works by these two artists for sale. And so you'll be able to find them for sale at Metropolis Gallery, NYC.com, as well as metropoliscomics.com. You can use either site to find them. And once you get there, you're going to have a great time. If you do searches by Ken Lashley on metropoliscomics.com, you do the pull down for artwork, and you'll find
the homepage of metropoliscomics.com will have a link to the article.
Oh, yes, it's a carousel article. Yeah. Sorry. So it'll be easy for you to find, and you'll be able to take a look. But make no mistake, other people will be doing this at the same time. And if you see something you like, jump on it. Just jump on it. Now, I want to say, as a curator, oftentimes, I'll look at stuff and I go, oh, I want this, I want that, I want, and I really try my best. I don't buy anything. I want the fans to have a shot and to be able to buy stuff. And oftentimes, the pieces that I like the most are the ones that go the fastest. So if you think you have good taste in art, and you see something you like, just jump on it. I'm not saying that as a salesman to pitch you to buy something. I'm saying because you're going to be disappointed when it's gone. You're going to see it up there, and then a minute later, it's going to be gone, and you go, damn it. That's the page I wanted. That's the cover I wanted. That's the painting I wanted. And now I can't have it.
I could tell you a million stories of me standing at San Diego and saying, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't." And then I turn my head and I turn around and someone's in front of me buying it.
Yeah,
like literally that. I mean, and I've had to do that with people too. Where I had a Batman cover, the Warner Brothers cover, for when you go the tour guide Batman cover, and I had it in my portfolio, and this guy wanted to buy it, and he 45 minutes he agonized over it, couldn't decide. And then when he decided, he said, no, I can't do it. He closed the binder and said, can't do it. He turned around, and the next guy opened it to the page and went, like he heard the whole conversation. How much of this? That's the price. And went, boom. and the guy hadn't even left the area. So he turned around and sees, and I was like, and he's like, and I was like, dude, like, I gave you first, this is what happens. This is what happens at a show like that. You have to sort of, I made some horrible things, but some great ones too. I've had some great stories. I have both sides of that, right? So I've done that.
We have a wonderful camera woman tonight, Annika, who's been helping us. Can we get some shots of the top cover pieces? So I think some of these are just really spectacular. And this one, Spider-Gwen, right?
Spider-Gwen #1.
I know. Gwenum. Sorry, Gwenum.
Gwenum #1. That was a fun. That was a lot of fun.
And it's hard to see with a little bit of the glare there. I do apologize. It's usually people are looking at this in person and can move around a bit. Oh, there you go. The detail on this is just sick. Wow.
Okay. Here's a great story about this. I did the roughs, and I was like, okay, so which one? And I didn't hear back. So I was like, this got to get done. So I just kind of went ahead and did this cover. I just kind of went, I'm just gonna do this. And I didn't have much time because we were kind of waiting for some approvals. And then when I just handed them on Monday, so this is it, and they were like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is the one we wanted anyway. This is sick. But I mean, so this is the thing about doing superhero comics. A lot of people think that we have tons of time. I think this was done in probably hour-wise, probably about 20 hours, but probably over the course of a weekend, right? Because you really don't have a lot of time. So I wish I had done something. I wish I'd done a little bit crazier, but I think it came across as what I wanted it to be. I mean, and I use a lot of negative space on this, and this character is just fun to draw. And I've just been slated to do something else at Marvel that's in this same family that ends in Venom. And it's gonna be pretty amazing, and it's gonna be a mini series, and I think I've said too much, but it's gonna be something fun like this, and symbiotes and stuff like this. So this was my first sort of entering into that universe, and I think I thought I would never get rid of that piece. That was a piece that I thought, oh, that goes into my no sell ever binder. I have a binder of no sell binder, and I actually went through that binder and sent probably 10 of the 200 pieces in there to this. Probably actually, you know what, probably half of what I sent was from my no sell binder.
Well, we can't tell you how much we did. And the quality of it shows, and you definitely can understand why you wanted to eat this stuff. And and I'm sure the fans are very happy that you're sharing this with them.
Yeah,
this is another cool piece.
This was a lot of fun. This one was just when the Black Widow movie came out, and they came to me and said, "Oh, we want to do the two Russian guys fighting each other from different eras." And I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" So having some fun with it, and of course, you can do the same typical sort of smash them up. Who's winning, who's losing, and I was just like, "Well, I'm going to do something kind of a little bit different than what I normally do." And the colorist did a crazy job on it too. It did a lot of pastel-y wash colors on it, and it really came out super different than what normally people would see in an action-packed type of punch 'em up kind of cover. So I really got a chance to do some different things, and that's what I've been doing probably the last 5 or 6 years. Is people know me as sort of this kind of artist, but I'm taking some chances, and I just finished a crazy cover just a couple days ago that's just full of just like ink blotches and stuff on it and stuff. So I'm taking chances. So this is a true traditional comic book style, this one here, but I think the layout is something that you wouldn't normally see from me. And so that was in my no sell binder too. Boy, there's a lot of no sell binder. I gotta you might have to send some of these back. I don't know what's going on here.
You might have sent the wrong
I think I sent the wrong binder. But that was one of my favorite ones.
Let's move on to the next one.
This is like, everyone has done one of these in their life. We're doing a homage to the great Tom McFarlane. So they came to me, but this is a variant cover for I think it was for Frankie's Comics, and this one took forever to do. I don't know what I was thinking when I did this one. I spent probably way longer than probably like 40 hours I spent on this, because just doing all the little the bandages and the graphic, it just took a lot longer. And here's what people don't realize: once you start doing bandages a certain way, you got to finish it that way. You can't just say halfway through you're like, oh man, I wish I could just make this solid black and get out of here. But no, that's not the gig. So this one took forever. I think I spent more time drawing the arm than I did probably anything else. But in the end, you have a very strong piece. And even when I was finished with it, I wasn't sure what to do with the background, because everyone's sort of like, oh, what do you do? It's null. Like, what do you do? And I was like, well, I've already done all this texture work. Let's do a textured background, which is something normally I don't do. I think it really holds the piece. I mean, if without the textured background, it's a nice piece, but with the textured background, it becomes something else completely. And I think it's when you see this up close, you realize how much they call it line mileage, and there's lots of line mileage on that one.
I think also it should be noted, I don't know if you mentioned already, I was in the gallery with myself. It's an homage to Spidey 300.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that. I don't do a lot of I have been doing a lot lately. This one was one of the strongest. It's one of the first ones I've done. I think it's the first homage I've ever done, actually, to be honest with you. I usually don't do that. So when I first got it, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do a homage. That's kind of not my thing. And you try to like push them away from it because you want to be creative. But there is a beauty in just doing homages where you just get a chance to just sort of like, oh well, okay, so someone else has done something. Let's see how I can make it my own. So it was a lot of people artists have done it, and I know, and so it was fun to do it. I mean, it took a lot of thinking out of it, so you just became surface, and let's just see how well you can draw and do textures and stuff. So it worked out pretty good.
And here we have another homage.
This was crazy because Barry Windsor Smith. I mean, it's he's the god amongst men. So it's when you get a chance to do that, I was like, oh, I don't know if this I don't want to make it look. I gotta put my best foot forward, just to put it that way. So I really went into it, and there's a lot of really cool parts in the original that I was trying to emulate. I did the best I could with my meager skills. It took a while to do this one because if you look at the bottom part of it, there was he has sort of a skeletal parts of it, and just even working out logistically how all those pieces fit together, that took forever. But this is one of those things where when it was finished, the original was Wolverine, and doing it because of X-23, it's different anatomies, different set of things, so you have to be mindful. So I changed the clothing a little bit. The transition between the two characters was something I had to really control. So this is one of those pieces where it's more technical than a lot of other stuff that I've done. The feel is the same, but it's much more technical and in the keeping in line with what Barry Windsor Smith has been known for. I'm not known for the same thing, obviously, because very few people are. But I will like to say that I really think that technically this is probably my closest what I could do in the time frame allowed to a Barry Windsor piece.
And it is really beautiful and very powerful.
I appreciate it.
Another piece that I love, and it's a very different style for compared to the 4 previous pieces, is this Batman cover.
Yeah.
And it's a very modern take on Batman. I like that bat symbol on his chest is just huge. Yeah. I think it's so cool. And I like the smaller ears.
Yeah, the signal is a new character, character of color. Well, not really a new character. He's been around for a bit. This is a limited series, and they've asked me if I would do the main cover, so that's what this was. Which is really good about it is because he does all of his work during the day, so he's completely different than the other Batman heroes or the Batman universe heroes. So it was usually the tropes when you do like Batman is that you can get away with a lot of silhouettes because it's a nighttime thing, and it's kind of what Batman and all the Batman heroes are known for. So getting a chance to do this one, it was sort of like, okay, so let's do that in reverse. Like, let's open it up, make it airy. And how does that work, right? So sometimes you can get away with a lot of stuff when it's all in shadow. And this one I couldn't. So, but the posing was one of the things that I thought I struggled with a little bit at first. I was like, how would I pose this character? So when I started to do the layout for it and started moving forward, I said, well, I'm going to give him a gargoyle because come on, or some kind of top of a building, but the rest of it I'm going to open it up and off it go. And then the coloring on that was I guess the character's yellow and some yellow characters, so it looked beautiful in the end. But it was one of those pieces where I got a chance to do something that's kind of a little bit sort of inverted from what the Batman family usually does. So it was kind of fun to work on.
That's beautiful.
We talked about the next one already, so let's skip to the what's the next one?
It's a very thoughtful process, Ken. I have to say that when you look at art, you wonder, were you just laying down lines? But clearly, like with a piece like that, and from your description, that you had to put a lot of. You're right. Where's the cape? I mean, you've had to really approach that drawing in a very different way, and the character in a very different way, and that's. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah, it's completely this is it's one of those things where I mean, like when you get the script, and Cully Hamner actually did the design for that character. So, and Cully Hamner's style is very open and very more cartoony. So sometimes you want to keep in the same family, so you're not trying to overpower what the character is by doing let's just do something dark and gritty. That's because that's not who the character is. So you have to be mindful of who the character is, what you're trying to accomplish, as well as trying to meet a deadline. Same with this piece right now is the first page of the Carnage 10-page story that I did, number 1. And this was crazy fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, because when they came me with this story, they were so saying, oh, we're sorry that we gave away all the covers already. We really want you to do a cover. And I was like, oh, it's okay. My deadlines were tight, and I was in my head, I was thinking, wait to the first page. So the first page basically is a cover. And and then they were like, "Oh my goodness, this is so crazy," and I really treated it as if it was a cover, even though maybe the story doesn't lend itself well to having a splash shot there, but I was like, this is my cover. This is the first page of my 10-page story, and I'm gonna go so crazy with this Carnage page. So I gave them all 10 pages for this gallery showing. So all 10 pages story is there. That's probably one of my favorite pages of that series. And that one and the Cloak and Dagger page. So it's kind of fun here. It's kind of fun to see it in its light, and even because it was colored in black. I think it was colored in just grays and red, the whole thing. So it you didn't get a chance to really see it fully rendered and go crazy. And I remember the colorist was like, "Oh man, I really want to render this," and I was like, "Well, that's not the gig, right? The gig is something a little different." So. But it was fun. It was fun to work on, and this is traditional, traditional comic book fare. So, and I'd never drawn Carnage before, so this is the first time I've done Carnage.
And the movie's out.
So they say, right?
Surprised it lasts through the night tomorrow. I'd be shocked.
I appreciate it.
Annika, I think what we should do is take a look at this beautiful Boba Fett that's in the gallery showcase here.
We have a piece by Ken also that you can only see if you come here.
Yeah. Right.
Darn it.
It's a pretty great piece behind that piece of paper there too.
Okay, so you're talking about the gray tone one, Are you want to, okay?
Yeah,
that's
just
Boba Fett, yeah.
Well, see that's a funny one because that was I do these kilocons and I do them once a week and I'll draw something live. And sort of give people an opportunity to sort of see how my process works and stuff like that. And I usually draw it in gray paper because it shows up quicker, and I usually draw it straight to ink. So I don't have time to, you don't lay it out and then you go back to ink. So this probably took me about an hour and a half tops. And then after it was finished, I think I went back and I said, okay, I'm going to add some more to it. So that's why I added the hut in the background. If you can see the hut back there, but what really makes it sing is the last 10 minutes. So you do all the gray tones and you use the paper as a mid-tone and then you do white and use some paper. But when you add the white highlight, that's when it goes from, oh, that's a nice drawing to something that it's much stronger and visually arresting. So that's all in the tricks at the end. So if you look closely, and when you see this up close, the back whole half is actually is a hut, and then there's sliced noodles and there's some other characters, and I've added a lot of little tidbits that are Star Wars related. You gotta really know your Star Wars to sort of pick those things out. But this is one of my favorite pieces. I really like that piece, and I actually that was also in my, because usually after the kilocons I kind of I just move them. I just if somebody wants to buy one, I just whatever. But this one I kept. So this one went into my no sell binder because I thought it was a very strong piece, one of my stronger ones that I did live. Actually, one of my other ones became a cover for Marvel, the Moon Knight one. So I mean, some of the stuff that I do ends up in other places, but this one is definitely one of the ones that I really liked. And at the end of it, I think it's one of my stronger Star Wars pieces that I did in a live event.
Super cool.
Let's talk about this one right here.
Yeah, let's go. Black Panther.
Well, see, that's the Voices cover for number one. And I had done it twice because the first one I had done and I just didn't like it. I mean, I'm fast enough that I can just go, "Ooh, I hate that." So I did it and I just didn't like it. So I just put it aside, and then because they were talking to me about doing other things. And then I just kind of put aside for about a week, and then they came back to me and said, "Oh, change it. We don't know what we want for the cover. Do whatever you want." So I was like, okay. So I thought about it, and I said, okay, what characters haven't I drawn before? I haven't drawn in a while. So I haven't done War Machine. So let's do War Machine, and I haven't drawn Storm in a bit. So let's do Storm. And and so let's do Miles. So I kind of made this up, to be honest with you. None of these characters are in my story. My story was a domino story for this book, but it was one of those things where getting a chance to draw whatever characters of color you wanted to draw for a Marvel book, and you get to pick them and what era you picked them from. What a great opportunity for me. So I did it. I had some fun with it. It just probably took me. I spent more time doing the rendering on his costume, on Black Panther's costume, than I probably have done anything else. Like I spent so much time rendering the thigh, rendering the chest, and I just had it. It's just it's a lot of work on that piece. But I don't do a lot of cross hatching because of time. But this one was one of those ones I had a little bit more. I had an extra day, so I went for it, and I think it's probably the best showcase of my abilities at this time. So I think it's one of my stronger pieces for what I can do at this point. I couldn't have done this maybe 10 years ago.
I love the line work on his chest alone. It's just extraordinary, the level of detail on that.
I appreciate. Yeah, and it's funny when you do a piece. Sometimes you do a piece and you're like, okay, well, you don't know how you grow, right? As an artist, you just don't know how it happens. A lot of people think you grow from time to time, but I think what happens is in growth happens between pieces. So you do something and you think about something, and then you go back to another piece in a week, and there's something that you thought about is now you can apply to the next one. So this is one of those pieces. I think because this is the second time I'd done it. The first time there was something that was missing from it, and I still have that half. The whole body is finished, but it just didn't have the same strength as this one. So when I got the chance to do it the second time, there was something that I knew I wanted to do and how I was going to handle it. So the moment I got halfway through this piece, I knew that this was a much stronger piece, and it was a much better showcase of how I was going to do this. I mean, it was a strong piece. I even the Storm's cape. If I made her cape a textured cape, it wouldn't Panther's arm wouldn't pop forward. So I did a little framing technique by having some of the lines in the background. Storm's cape framed it a little bit. So I'm learning how to add values to it without having to worry about the colors. I let the colorist, and also when you do a piece like this and you give it to the colorist knows exactly what to do. So this is so easy because you've not left it open, so there's not a lot of thinking. You say, oh, let's just make this cool. And I think when you see this piece colored, you'll see that this piece it looks great colored because I did all the work in the pencil and ink stage. So this is this was a really strong piece for me. But it's time for it to go.
Yeah. I see somebody said worst original art decision I ever made was passing on a Lashley commission opportunity at a local con. Well, make up for that and buy something at the art show tomorrow. I think you're going to have plenty of pieces to pick from.
Yeah, it's hard to get on my list now. My list is like a year and a half wait. That's what happens.
Anything else?
We got a couple more pieces to look at. We can get through these. Another
what? I said that? Yeah. This was an amazing opportunity. Getting a chance to do a star variant of classic Boba Fett. It was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. And even this is a time example when this is one of those things where I was going to go, well, I'm going to definitely do the background. I'm going to put all this black in the background. And when I got halfway done, I said, no, I'm going to leave the background open. I'm not going to fill it and do a dark thing because I don't think it really suits. And I think this was a tough decision to make because you're sort of like, I'm known for putting a lot of, grounding the character and putting a lot of black in the background and pop them forward. But I think this piece, the line art alone, I spent so much time on the line art and trying to be accurate with it. But it is very hard to stop drawing stuff like this. I like to give it up. Sort of like, okay, you've got to send this off at some point because this is what I grew up with. This is my childhood. These are the characters that I love so much. And also, I mean, I've drawn Boba Fett a few times. I did a package illustration for the Unleashed. I worked for Hasbro Toys for a lot of years, and I do all the package art for Star Wars Unleashed. And in fact, this is the only other piece I've done other than that. And this is kind of funny. I never told this story before, but the package art of the Sarlacc Pit Star Wars Unleashed toy. I just came out of the movie and I was talking to the guys over at Hasbro, and they're like, we want to do a toy of Boba Fett, and we're not sure what we're gonna do. So I said, we have to do this. Him busting out of the Sarlacc Pit. Come on, everyone knows that. You got to make that toy. So they were like, okay. So I did a sketch. I sent it off. And that became the base of what that toy is. So it's pretty amazing. This is the second time I've actually drawn Boba Fett in print. The first one was the Hasbro work, and then now this one. So that first one is near and dear. This one took a lot of prying and a lot of alcohol, and off it went. So off it goes. Let's see. Oh, this was a fun cover. This one's. Okay, sometimes when you get an assignment, you're so right for it. So they say we want to do Batman #1. next Batman of color. Would you be interested in doing a variant? And I said, don't ask silly questions. Those are ridiculously silly questions, right? And then I got a chance to, okay, what do I do? Like, you know, you do whatever you want. You know, we don't know what the story is, Ken. Just do whatever you want. And of course, you know, you think, okay, who are the artists that you really like who've done Batman? And, you know, of course, Jim Lee comes to mind, and some other guys come to mind. And then you start thinking about all these other artists who have touched Batman and Batman #1s and stuff like that. And I thought, well, I'm gonna do my version. I'm gonna do my version of a cool Batman piece. And this was near and dear. This one took forever, but I really, really, really loved this cover. Like when I did this cover, I was like, oh, getting a chance to draw that and drawing a chance to draw a Batman cover. You don't get a chance to draw those every day. Those don't come around very often in my life because I'm more of an X-Men guy, so I get a lot of X-Men stuff. But drawing Batman, DC, that's never been something that's been come over my table too often. So this was probably the third one I've ever drawn or Batman cover, but the first one of this series. In fact, they've come back to me a few times after this piece, and I've done a few more covers for them for that series, but this was the first. And I think it's probably one of the strongest. It has more time than the other ones. And I did something I usually don't normally do. If you look closely at there's a gray tone on it, and that's pencil. So after I was finished with it, I was looking at it, and I just added this pencil just to see what it would look like, and I left it, and that's part of the final piece of artwork. So that was rendered. So I was completely finished and done, and off it was going off. Then I just looked at it again right before I scanned it, and I said, I'm gonna pencil a little bit and see what it looks like, and I just left it. And that's and then it adds a texture to it. So when the color spraying, there's actually a texture to it. So it's pretty fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
and I can't tell you, this has just been a pleasure.
Oh, thanks.
I am so excited to do the opening tomorrow night. I wish you could be here, but you'll be here. It's great. And you know what? We're going to try to get you on if you're available at all tomorrow evening. We'll try to get you on like on Zoom or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be working. I'm working on some Spider-Man. I mean, on some stuff. So I mean, it's like I'm working on some stuff. I may end up in the gallery, but I'm definitely working on. I'll be here tomorrow.
There's a lot more stuff from Ken, also prelims and some other cool stuff. Lots of stuff. All sorts of different price levels. Lots of choices.
Yeah,
some X-Men pages that we didn't get to talk about.
X-Men. Yeah. Uncanny X-Men pages, no less.
Yes.
And I swear that was one of those things where I cried when I got that assignment. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, oh, finally. My favorite thing growing up was Uncanny X-Men, and I get a chance to work on that book was an amazing experience.
It shows in the drawing.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, anybody who wants to come down here tomorrow, 6:00. Info's all on the website, Metropolis Gallery, NYCC.com.
Yeah.
We want to see. We don't want to see everybody at once, but we want people to come. We want people to come and look at the art as safely as possible. We're going to be following all of New York's rules.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Anna Kay, come on over here for a second.
I appreciate it.
I just want to thank her, Anna Kay, for shooting the videos. All right, she's been great.
Thank you very much. You're making me look good. I appreciate that.
Big help. Thanks so much. Thank you. We have a great team here, and we're going to have great people on staff tomorrow for the show. It's going to be wonderful. If you're ever in New York City and we're not having an art gallery show and you want to see our permanent exhibit, we'll be more than happy to share that with you as well. And to everybody who is coming, we can't wait to see
And
it.
if you can't be here, it's all going to be online tomorrow, 6:00.
6 p.m. Metropolis Gallery, NYC.com, MetropolisComics.com. The art will be available. Just trust me on this. You see something you like, pick it up. Don't think, well, I'm not really sure.
I've been there. Always regret.
All right. I'm really jealous, guys. I have to tell you. I wish I was there. I would love to be there tomorrow at the opening. So I hope everybody has a great time. And it's a phenomenal looking show, you guys. It's amazing that
That's great.
Again, Ken, your work is beautiful, and the fact that you've given pieces that you really didn't want to give, says a lot. I think this is going to be just a wonderful experience for the original art collectors and fans of the genre to see this show tomorrow.
I appreciate that. I have a little bit of tears, but but I'll get over it, I think.
Right.
Just you'll be able to buy some art when you get some sales.
Yeah.
You
Everybody have
can't-
dibs on some stuff
can
already.
buy it back, Ken, because I know the owner, the consignor. I think he'll work with you a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I think. Well, we'll see, won't we? I appreciate that, guys. This has been great. I really appreciate it. It's a great opportunity, and this is a lot of fun. And this is, I really appreciate it. And we hope you have a great show.
All right, we will. All right. Good night, everybody. Bill, thank you so much for hosting. As always, a pleasure to work with you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, likewise, guys. This was a lot of fun. And anytime, next gallery opening or anything that I can, show off for you, I'm happy to do it. And I really am jealous about tomorrow. This looks great. I'm a big fan of Simone's as well. And so just the idea that you've got so many prelims that we're not seeing on the walls. I mean, just to be able to go there tomorrow and to see all that, I'm going to be doing it online. But there's nothing like seeing art, right in front of you.
Astonishing X-Men prelims are insane because they're tiny, but there's something that have like paint in them. They're like he would do like 4 or 6 pages of a comic on one page. I'll show you
thumbnails.
I'll show you one.
That's it. I mean, that's the stuff. Well, because I'm a huge X-Men fan, so just hearing him talk about that, I mean, I want to see that work.
So this is 4 pages from Astonishing X-Men. But then, like the white paint and the
wow.
it's
Wow.
crazy.
Look at that. I mean, his prelims are just unbelievable.
And
I mean,
these are not terribly expensive.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of
I'm going to zero into that, and there's a few other things of Ken's I'm going to zoom in on as well. That's so yeah, you guys are going to have a great show. I know it, and just and again, there's so many people that couldn't travel to New York for this particular show that people are hungry for buying opportunities, and this is clearly a really, really wonderful opportunity for all original art collectors. So thank you guys for putting it together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope we didn't eat into too much of your time for your normal Thursday night show.
No, I actually kept my normal Thursday down to a minimum. So this was great. It was well worth the extra time to do this show. And so again, thank you both, and and everybody at Metropolis for putting this together and letting me be a part of it as well.
All right.
Happy to do it.
Have a great night. Thank you very much. Take care.
All right, good night. All right. So everybody, that was a whole lot of fun, wasn't it? Far more artwork that we got to see than I was expecting, and I'm thrilled, and I'm jealous of all of you who are in New York right now and going to be able to see all of this up close and in person. I mean, that's see, and I've actually never been to Metropolis Gallery. I think this is probably the 4th show I've done with those guys, and I'm so jealous of anyone who's been able to get there just to even see their permanent collection, but to see these shows up front, up close and in person. I mean, we need more art galleries for original comic art, and I have a feeling, as time goes by, we're going to see a few more of them popping up. I've heard of other people discussing the opportunities, and I know there's that Philip LeBaum gallery that is just down the road from the Javits that has an opening tomorrow, or is it tonight? Maybe, I can't recall. I've got a slide for that, but to answer, I think Jason, you asked, I mean, will there be a regular update? Absolutely. That was just the the premiere, and then we're going to do a regular CAF update for everybody. So yeah, that was but again, a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that they wanted to do that with me. That was kind of a last minute idea, and again, just happy they thought of me to do it. So again, I hope everybody's having a great week. I am. It's been quite busy. I'm working a lot on the some of the video editing stuff that I'm going to be showing on the Saturday show with Berkey, that Raiders of the Lost Art. And if you haven't seen the teaser, I'll show that. I was thinking of showing a little bit of a longer segment from that, because the way that show is going to go, it's not going to be memes with dueling dealers like I would normally do there. It's going to be more of a show where it starts off with the introduction, because remember, everybody was like, well, just film you guys doing a bin dive and then do the show. And so that's what we decided to do. And so when we started filming what we were going to do for the bin dive, that's when we kind of built a little story around doing the bin dive. And so it's just fun, something different, and I think everybody's going to appreciate it. But it's like editing the Billigan episode that we did on Dueling Dealers. I probably spent 15 hours on it so far for about 3 minutes worth of actual footage, and I'm not done. I've still got about another 2 minutes to finish on it. So it's it's good. It's definitely good. I think everybody's going to get a good laugh out of it. No Bill Lash, Marcus. No Bill Lash. Although that maybe something in the future. We've talked about some funny ideas, so you never know. But let me see here. Stuff from all that. It's yeah. But at any rate, so that's what I've been doing. I've been spending a lot of free time on that, as well as there's just been a lot of news coming, from New York that we've been having to post for the art dealers. And Marcus, I hope you had a good time. CAF is missing all your extra commentary, but we'll get by. We'll get by. Actually, I can show you some pictures because let's see. Anthony sent me a few photographs from the floor today. Let's see. And then, of course, they're not formatted right, so I couldn't crop myself out over here. But I could see Mikhail there for sure, and I believe that's Kavi. So lots of people having a good time in New York. Who else was in there? I guess this was his crew shot. And oh, that's right. He did an interview with Humberto Ramos, and I believe we'll be probably putting that on the Comic Art Live channel sometime next week. Not quite sure when. I know he's got to do some editing for it. Apparently, he picked up a huge haul of art, a couple hundred pieces from Ramos's rep, and none of it was signed. So when the show opened, or before, no, it was actually last night before the show opened, he had Humberto over and took care of signing. And while he was signing, he did an interview with him. So I'm sure we'll probably have that on our channel sometime very soon. Kavi and the crew. Exactly. I mean, I'm very, very jealous. And he sent me some video clips too, but he sent them to me in a weird format, so I can't really show them. But one of the clips was somebody shouting, "What's your best price, Anthony?" at him. So I can convert that later on and use it as a meme or something. So I hope he gets a few more of those. And I hope if you're at New York Comic Con, put the camera on Anthony and shout, "What's your best price, Anthony?" and see what he says. So we got to keep Anthony in good spirits, right? I mean, how dour he can be sometimes at a show. Hopefully he's much happier now after 8 months of dueling dealers and hanging out and keeping a smile on with Sharon by his side. So let's see what else we got here. So I don't think he sent me anything other than those couple photos, but I can tell you, I've probably had 3 or 4 people that have emailed me letting me know that they are shooting some video and doing some photography while they're there. So I'm quite confident that next Thursday's CAF update will be filled with footage from New York Comic Con. And, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see it myself. Like I said, I'm very, very jealous. But you know what I'm even more jealous of is Ken's microphone. That's the same microphone that Scott Wingo has. And I'm sold now because their voice comes, I know I'm not the best speaker in the world, but if I could stammer my way and have a silky smooth voice at the same time, I think whatever the cost is of one of those microphones, it's well worth it. So my daughter has one, and I actually haven't even tried it, but I've heard her voice recorded through it, and it's just amazing. So I'm gonna have to invest the money and get past that little bit. So no cake at the show. I thought didn't Anthony say he was taking all those cupcakes that they showed on the Wednesday show, or no, the Monday show? I thought that was what the plan was. What's your best cake, Anthony? He wasn't. He was even more. Oh, come on, Fish. Are you serious? He wasn't happy. I'll be very disappointed. I mean, I literally, when we went in the green room after the show on Monday, I said, Anthony, we've had so much fun the last 8 months. I hope that carries over to the show, because that's what people are going to expect to see out of you now. So if he was more grumpy, oh man, no cupcakes and lots of grumpy. Well, how the hell is he smiling in any of those photos? And look, he's smiling there. He's smiling there. And he's smiling there. So I don't know. Anthony is a mystery wrapped up in an enigma. I have no idea. He's so very different when I talk to him, and then everybody else tells me he's back to his old ways. All right, actually, Albert was giving out hugs. That I cannot picture at all. unfortunately. Just don't look at his tape. Yeah, right. All right. I'm glad you're still an Anthony fan. It is what it is. I mean, okay, it could have been a forced smile. He hates the union workers that have to load him in and out. Heard all about it. I know. Well, that's just it. And I always tell him that whenever we have a chat, you can't focus on the negative. And he always, his negatives were always the same. And I always tell him that. I'm like, well, I've already heard that one before, Anthony. Tell me something else that's bothering you. So, but it hasn't worked. Clearly, it hasn't got him to get to the point where he has nothing negative left to talk about. Oh well. So that's how it goes. I'm sorry, just looking through a few other things, but oh well. So we'll have a lot of stuff to show next Thursday from that con, and I know it will be fantastic. I'm sure, because I know I saw Mikhail was taking some photos, and a couple other people emailed me on the side asking me exactly what I wanted them to do while they were there. What should they photograph? So I think we'll have some good stuff. So since we were talking about dueling dealers and whatnot, let me at least show you the schedule up front so I can get that past me here. Although it's not a Dueling Dealers episode, I did list the Raiders of the Lost Art for Saturday. It's a 5 p.m. Eastern show, so I hope everybody can tune into that. It's a little different. I'm not sure why Mike wanted to do it at 5 p.m., that was his time. He picked it. So we're going to give that a try. It will be 50 artworks available for sale from actually 2 different bin dives that Mike and I did. He sent me about half of the slides today, and some of the artwork is stuff we looked at, and I know he must have done his own bin dive because half of it I didn't recognize. So we'll see. He's his own man. He can do whatever he wants. Maybe he didn't like everything that I picked out for him, but everything that I've seen so far looks pretty darn good. Then we will have a regular show next Wednesday. Then the following Wednesday, that's the day I actually leave for Vegas. So I'm just going to call it right now and just say we won't have a show that week. I'm sure Anthony will complain and probably wish that I was doing a Monday show that week, but it's probably best that we don't. And just because we have another themed show coming up on 11/3 that you can see down there. Not going to give you any teasers on it, but technically it's our Halloween show. It kind of falls in line. We did the first Billigan episode on episode 20. And my target goal had always been to have every 20 episodes be a themed show like that one. And I believe that show will actually be our 41st. So we're a little bit off schedule, but it's New York's fault, and it's the Raiders of the Lost Art fault. But so having that extra week off will help me pull that themed show that I know everybody's going to dig. They're gonna, it's gonna be well worth it. So having an extra show day off is good. And then on the 30th of this month, so right before Halloween, I will be hosting a special art sale with Mike Oming, and he sent me most of the art for that. It all looks really great, and I'm excited to do it. I've talked with him a few weekends ago, and he's excited to do it. We had a few snafus with the Linsner. This is also going to be through Talent Talk. We had some snafus on the delivery with the Linsner stuff, but I think we got that all primarily worked out, and I think the Oming show should go a lot smoother. So at least for my end of things, selling the artwork, that will go very smooth, as we all know. And then, like I said, 11/3 themed show. I know it. It's going to be super funny. We've already shot parts of it, but I haven't done any editing yet, so I can't really. We did a lot of crazy shoots for it, and I don't know. It all comes together when I edit it, so I know that it'll be fun no matter what. And then we'll have one regular show on the 10th. And then, of course, Comic Art Live will be on the 13th and 14th. I don't know if we're going to be doing any preview night type of thing like we did last time. Not on the show floor, but we did that drink and draw with Hero on the Friday evening before the show. I haven't really talked with Jim McLaughlin about that. So, I mean, he pulled the last one together in a few weeks, so he might come to me and ask me about it again. If he wanted to do it, I would probably do it again. But I should probably reach out to him tomorrow. He's part of Talent Talk, so he's kind of my contact person there. So I probably will talk to him about it and see what he has to say. When will booths be open? That is a very good question. I hope we always have them open at least a month in advance. So they will certainly be open by next Thursday at the very latest. I already started doing some prelim stuff today to get the booths ready. And I need Maureen to help me wrap up the things that I can't do on my own, which tends to be a lot of things when it comes to some of the programming. But it'll definitely be open by next Thursday to give everybody a month. I wanted to start sending out some promo emails, probably starting on Tuesday. So to let people know that it was coming up and letting them know they have to be premium to be able to have an exhibitor booth and whatnot. So, yep, we will definitely be opening the booths very, very soon. And let's see. Sorry. Yes, not a problem, Michael. Always happy to. The show kind of creeps up on me. You figure I can't believe it's already been 5 months since the last show. So things are. The schedule with all these live streams does put me at a bit of a disadvantage. The show coming. I thought literally a couple weeks ago. I still had 2 months. So that's how it goes. But what else? Okay, so other than that, with the dueling dealers, I did want to let everybody know about our upcoming CAF chats, and because they're all going to be fun. I've got next Tuesday, Harry Mendrick is going to be on with me, and we're going to be chatting about his comic art collection. And then the following Tuesday, the 19th, I've got Dinesh and Zatari, who will be going in together on a chat. As far as we're going to talk about their collections, of course, they're going to be picking out artwork to talk about, but we're also going to talk about some of the strategies that they employ as collectors, because they have a group of kind of collectors that kind of work together to find things and they help each other out. And we've talked about other collector groups that are like that, but I think this is going to be very insightful from two very well-known CAF collectors. And then the following week after that, I will have Kirk Dilbeck on, and we'll be talking about him as a art collector, not as a dealer. As you know, he runs Three Wishes, and I think on Patron of Art on eBay. But we're going to talk about him as a collector there, and probably within a day or two after that, I'm going to film one of those 30-minute focused recorded bits on him as a dealer and post that probably a few weeks later. So he and I, he's got a very busy schedule. And I've been talking with him for about 6 months to just get him to do one, and he finally has time to do both. So we're going to work all that out, but it'll be fun. It'll be a good time to get him on and chat about his collection, because he does have one hell of a collection. I know his gallery is filled with. He uses CAF. He doesn't have his own website as an art rep. He does everything through his CAF gallery, and there are a few guys, like Kirk, that do that. I think it's great. I mean, I think it's better to probably have a website as well, just for marketing purposes. I mean, he has maybe he has a domain name that points to his CAF gallery. Some collectors actually do that, but I don't think Kirk does that. I'll have to ask him about that. But yeah, every dealer should have a website, but he does not. He runs everything through his CAF gallery. So it's interesting in its own right. Trying to look through anything else that I had prepped for that. I didn't, because I knew I was doing the show with Metropolis. I didn't really have anything special on the side other than what we talked about. But hey, let me show you that one teaser, because I will forget to do it if I don't do it now. The little trailer, if you haven't seen it. And I wish if the half of the intro I had done was a little more polished, I would probably show that, because it is pretty darn funny. But here is that teaser for the Saturday show.
All right, Pops, we're almost to the warehouse. That map says there's treasure there, Junior. Just hold on to your hat, old timer. Okay.
So there you have it. So the intro will be a little bit longer than that, of course, for the Saturday show, but a lot more humor, and you'll get to see us actually do the bin dive. So, yep, need the Anthony meme after that. Yeah, I completely agree, Marcus. And we tried working Anthony into this little intro that we're filming without him knowing about it. I don't know if I'm going to include it, just because it's, I don't want to make Anthony mad. So we'll see. I may throw it in there just for fun, but Mike and I did film a bit that included Anthony as a prop, basically. So we'll see. But let's get on with the CAF update here. And as always, this is going to cover the period of September 26th through October 3rd. So it was was actually, I don't know. Well, every week is hard when it comes to picking artwork, and this week was really good. And Chris has got his picks that I'm going to have to queue up when he gets in here as well. So let me let me get the dealer sales going on here. Now, comic art dealers had a very typical average week, and it was what was it, $238,000 as compared to $210,000 in sales from the week before. Felix led the charge, 75 sales for $70,000, and following that was Albert with 45 sales and $65,000. Berkey, 33 sales, $37,000. Anthony had most sales, as always, 89 sales, just under $31,000. Quan had 5 sales for $26,000, and Will had 7 and just over 12. So that's how that sales broke down by the dealers. And as far as their top 6 sales, let me get those up here for you. So again, $238,099. First up is this was sold by Albert. $40,000 was the asking price. Ron Lynn, the artist, of course, the Infinity Crusade issue 1 cover. Very memorable, beautiful. Love that one. And next up, this was by Felix. This was Ryan Otley. This is the Rick Grimes 2000 issue 1 cover. And the asking price, and I'm sure the sale price officially, was $10,000 on that piece. Next up, this was sold by Will. $5,500 was the asking price. Lionel Francis Yu. This was the cover to Wolverine 311, published in 2012. And the next up is this amazing Shang-Chi illustration by Paul Gulacy, sold by Albert for $5,000. Love that. I would have liked to have owned that one. And we have an Adam Kubert piece here. This was sold by Glenn. Wolverine issue 85, page 44. The asking price on this one was $4,000. And the final sale was by Berkey. This one was sold for $3,500 asking price. And artist, of course, is Bernie Wrightson. And it's from Punisher POV issue number 2. So he had that for a long time. I didn't know that, Marcus. That's the funny thing with some of the dealer sites, because once the art's been up there for a while, it just gets lost. So if he had that on his site, I can say that. And I'm almost done with this redesign, Marcus. I know you're going to be the one that's going to have to go through and proof it and critique it. But so as much time as I've actually spent on Albert's site of late, I didn't, and it's been like the last month and a half, I didn't see that either. So it is what it is. Hey, Kavi, did you see us? I showed a picture of you about 10 minutes ago when you were at Anthony's booth. So I hope you're having a good time at New York. You think it was in his ring binders. All right. Well, and I agree, Wes, very much so that that was a great Wolverine cover. So let's see. Yep, I know. Next year, I hope everything gets back to normal. I would love to be there. So, but I'm jealous of everybody who's there. Let's go on to the auction results. And auction results are grossly skewed because they do include the numbers from Heritage's international auction. Now, I'm not going to show any of the pieces from the international auction, but total sales for both the 2 Heritage auctions and eBay was just under $2 million. 1.967 was the total sales. And let's see, what was it? About 1.75 of that was from the international auction. And then Heritage weekly auction was a bit subpar. They didn't even hit $100,000 in sales. They only had 96,000 in sales. And eBay was eBay. They had 720 confirmed sales that I chose to track, totaling $122,000 in sales. So so pretty normal for eBay for that week. And like I said, numbers are skewed. Without the international auction, I guess what would we be at? Around just at $210,000. So we would consider that a slightly down week if we didn't have the international sales in there to go there. Let's see, what was this? Kavi was wheeling and dealing with a dueling deal. Somebody should have recorded that. That would have been great, Kavi. All right, so let me go ahead and show the auction of the top 6 results, 3 from Heritage and 3 from eBay last week here. Let me get this thing queued up. And let's see. First up is let's see. Like I said, there's the sales, almost $2 million total. This is Joe Madureira, Uncanny X-Men 337, page 5, sold for $4,000 on eBay. And the second highest item on eBay was this G.I. Joe number 54, page number 2 by artist Ron Wiggum. And the price on this one was $3,400. This next one is a beauty. It's by Ariel Olivetti. It's a cover to Kingdom Come number 1 from 1998. This one sold for $3,350. Next up are the 3 top heritage picks. This first one is by Al Milgrom and Jim Mooney, Spectacular Spider-Man number 82, page 14, and this one sold for $4,440. And then next up is this piece by Frank Bruner and Ernie Chan from Marvel Premiere, and let's see, issue 9, and it sold for $3,600. And then finally, John Byrne, Bob McLeod, really nice New Mutants number 75 page. And this one sold for $3,600. And I'm trying to multitask. There's so many things I'm behind on right now. I hate to tell you because of that, the whole thing going on with my pals over at Metropolis. I actually forgot that I didn't have Chris's list set up here. So I'm going to bring Chris on because then we can talk while I'm actually moving his list over to this other computer. Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
Good. It was a good week to be behind for me too, Bill.
What's it? Well,
I said it was a good week for me to be behind. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, no. You know, well, like I said, I actually worked till like 2:00 working on this darn intro video for Saturday because I just got in a groove and I was like, I gotta get it to this one point. And usually I do all my prep work the night before. You know, like I get you my list early in the week, but yeah, I like to not be working on the show stuff for this one on the day of the show. And today I was pretty much doing everything and last minute, and Metropolis was sending me a lot of those images that I pulled up and showed while Ken was on there. They sent me those about 20 minutes before the show. So I had to go ahead and prep all those and get them ready, which completely distracted me from actually getting the important stuff done, my own work for my own show.
That was really cool. I tuned in a little late and I think I missed Bianchi, but Ken Lashley, like, great commentary. That was really fun to listen to.
It was, you know, the whole time I was talking with him, all I could think of, because I don't have his contact information because, you know, they just Metropolis passed everything along to him. But I was going to ask Micah if he'd let me at least shoot an invite over to him. I'd love to have him on because he's an art collector. So I'd love to talk about that. And yeah, I mean, he was great to listen to. I mean, he had some really nice stories. And yeah, I want to have him on to talk about his career as an artist and as an art collector. I think he'd be fantastic to have on the show.
Yeah, like the one with Jimmy Palmiotti was so good. I mean, you know, why not?
Exactly.
Why not do it again?
Well, and Jimmy's somebody I'd love to have back too, because I feel like I could do like a regular show with him, you know, once a month. You know, bring him on this show and let's talk for 30 minutes about 3 or 4 pieces in his collection or something. I think, yeah, he would be good. I mean, he's got the personality for it. He'd definitely be a lot of fun to have on a regular basis.
You probably can't have him and Nick on at the same time.
What's that?
You probably couldn't have Nick and Nick on at the same time, though.
No.
The conversation sphere would like implode.
Right. Well, I wouldn't get a word in edgewise. That's the one thing I know for sure. So, but that's all right. All right. Well, I got my stuff queued up here. I might be a little bumpy while I'm doing your picks for the week, but let me get mine on here. I haven't previewed this either because literally my son put this together for me and he uploaded it while I was doing the Metropolis interview. So if there's any typos, I apologize in advance for that. But let's cue this thing up. And so these are my 25 picks for that same week. And of course, I couldn't not start with this fantastic greatest Joker stories piece in the collection of Albert Moy by artist Brian Bullen. And that piece is just stunning. And next up, Marcus. Marcus made the list. This one is by Dan DiCarlo and Joe Sinnott. It's from Untold Tales of Spider-Man Annual 97, and it's a pinup from that book. And then again, Albert kind of ruled the roost. He did an art drop that just blew me away. And of course, everybody remembers this Art of John Buscema piece and in Mr. Moy's collection, and it's a phenomenal piece. So next up, this was in the collection of Tony S., Sal Buscema, Jack Abel. This is from Captain America, Volume 1, issue 235, page 30. And Mr. Wes Stefan, this is Bob Hall, Frank Giacoya. This is a beauty. This is, of course, a G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, number 5 cover. And again, another Moy, Hulk 109 cover. I mean, I couldn't not include this beauty. This is artist Herb Trimpe and John Severin inks. And then this is by Alex Saviuk and Rob Stahl. This is posted in the collection of Chris C. from Adventures of Spider-Man number 11 from 1997. It's page 22. And this is in J Giants, Dave W.'s collection. This is Sal Buscema and Joe Sinnott. This is from Incredible Hulk 274, page 30. And Ruben makes the list again, as he usually does. Ruben, the Duck Collector. Tom Grummett, Corey Hampshire. This is from X-Men Forever. And it's the cover to issue 6, Mr. Sinister. A lovely DPS in here from one of our chatters, Wolvie fan. This is by Adam Kubert and Dan Green. This is from Wolverine number 90. And who wouldn't want that in their collection, even if they weren't a Wolverine fan? That's a beauty. All right, here's Moy again. There's a Batman pinup by Mike Mignola. I mean, who wouldn't want that in their collection? I'm jealous of Albert this week. All right, next up, this is Josh Cassara and Benjamin Percy. This is from X-Force number 20 in the collection of George H. Congratulations, George. This is beauty. I love it. And JD, this is an awesome John Cassaday cover, Astonishing X-Men number 1, of course. Awesome claws. And next up is a Witchblade number 4 DPS in Jens Schlitt collection. This is by Michael Turner and D-Tron. And PA makes the list again. This is a Ed McGuinness, Dexter Vines piece. This is Hulk number 1 from 208. This is the first issue appearance of Red Hulk. This is in the collection of Dean Abraham. Artist is Barry Kitson. This is from Judge Dredd magazine, issue 365. It's the 25th anniversary cover. Michelle M. And I love Michelle's collection. Definitely you should check it out. This is by Humberto Ramos. This is Strange Academy Presents Death of Doctor Strange number 1 cover. And this is in Tim D's collection. J.H. Williams, of course, unmistakable style. This is the cover to Detective Comics 855. This is a Wonder Woman cover, an alt cover, I believe. This is from issue 768 in Alex N's collection, and artwork is done by Josh Middleton. Guillaume March, or William March, I always butcher it, I know, but this is in Vic V's collection, Justice League number 13, DPS, pages 8 and 9. Vic, you renewed your premium membership this week. Thank you very much. And here we have a piece from Marvel Fanfare number 21, Romain Verlier's collection, Jim Starlin and Al Milgram. George H., you made the list again. Josh Cassara. And this was written by Donnie Cates, of course, as well. This is from Venom number 12. Love the street scene on that one. And just a couple more pieces here. This is a X-Men Elsewhere page. This is in Bill Robert's his collection, and John Byrne, of course, is doing the honors. Bill was on our chat several months ago and has a phenomenal collection as well. And the Guise, I think we just saw this, of course, in the other one, but I wanted to show it again. It shows you how fast pieces can turn around in a week. Again, Ron Lim pencils, Al Milgram inks. And finally, this is the cover to Right Now. That's right with a W, of course, American flag in the collection of Joe Murray. And the artist, of course, is Howard Chaykin. So there you go. What do you think of my picks there, Chris?
Pretty tight picks. I'm not going to lie that the J.H. Williams was so good that when I saw it in your list, I was like, should I pick it anyway? Like, should we show it twice? Man, that's just an incredible piece. I got to get a cover from that guy at some point. I have a nice DPS from him where he does all those like does those really like ornate framing sequences and stuff like that he puts in, and it's got like hand lettering on the bottom. So the piece I have is awesome, but those covers are that's another level.
I completely agree. And sorry, I'm prepping your list right now, but no, the Williams was probably one of my favorite picks of the week. I mean, all of the stuff that Albert posted was just phenomenal, and blew me away. And I mean, there's no way anybody missed the stuff that he was posting. It was just all great. It was in the top commented section and everything. But
I would have forgiven you if you just did like everything Albert added as like half your list. they're all bangers. I mean, it's Albert Moy, so.
Exactly. And see, Albert's just like me. It's funny how we just have that moment where we're like, I'm going to just post everything I've gotten that's new or I haven't posted in the last year and do it all at one time. So I know Albert's time is valuable. so yeah, but I did the same thing. Remember, like a couple months ago, I was like, all right, I've got to do it. I'm going to scan, I'm going to post, and I'll be done for a while. So
I saw actually a couple people that did that this week, and I'm spacing on the collector's name, but there was a guy who just the week that we're looking at, I think he must have put up 20 pieces, and a lot of like awesome. I think I might have picked one of his pieces.
You'll have to remind me who it was. I think I must have missed that. I mean, there was, like you said, there was a lot of good stuff, but I don't always. I mentioned this before. I don't always look at the collector names. I'm always kind of looking at the. Right. Well, I should too, because that's why I would miss something like that. I'm like, wow, that's great, and then I don't really pay attention to who's owning the art. Which, I'll work on that. But let me let's see. I've got to share the right screen here because I've still got the Metropolis screen in my share. Let me get that here. So again, Chris, I appreciate you doing this. This is technically 4 weeks in a row, right? That we've been doing it. And I know you mean I had to do the first one without you, of course, but we've got another guest coming on next week. Khalil will be doing the 10 picks. So
the originator.
That's right. I know. I was, and the thing is, I was he had talked originally about maybe doing it this week, but he was busy. So next week is fine with me. I think that'll be fun. And then, as everybody should know, if you want to do it once, hop in here for 10-15 minutes to hang out and do 10 picks. I'm more than welcome to have you come on. Just you gotta let me know by like Sunday though of the week prior, or the week before the show, because by Monday I want to know who my guest is. I don't want to be waiting and trying to have somebody pop in Tuesday or Wednesday. So just
I don't want a meme, Marcus. I don't want to be a meme.
Give Chris his own meme. No, that's not fair.
I think Anasan, I think that's right.
Oh, with the last name Dylan?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go check that out. See, yeah, all right. Well, let's pull the artwork up here. I probably have to resize the screen a little bit. And I always hate when I leave my bookmarks in there. I want to be able to show as much art as possible. Let's see. Hide that. And let's see if I can get this thing a little bit taller. Well, that's not too bad. Okay. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so this is Tom Fowler. I unfortunately, I think, know Tom Fowler mostly from commissions. Kind of in the same vein that we were talking about Chris Stevens last week. But I know Tom has more, I think, a lot more published work than Chris does, and he's, I think, been at it about the same length of time. But there's just so much to like here. I'm not really a huge Forever People fan, if I'm honest. I think it's one of the kind of dopier things that Kirby did when he was at DC. No offense to Forever People fans by any means. It's still cool. It's still Kirby. But just these multi-figure compositions, I love them. And there's so much packed in here, even down to like the more scribbly kind of parademons in the background.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. That's amazing.
Yeah, super cool. And every, I think the thing I like the most about this is each individual character is doing something that is characterful. You know what I mean? It's like Moonrider and everyone in the piece is doing something that you could see them doing like in the comics. So I just think he obviously did his research or likes these characters himself. So just an awesome piece.
Well, very, very nice choice. And, you know, I was looking at this, and I know I see artists do this all the time with the heavier line on the characters that are up close as far as the outline. And then as the characters kind of fall back, the lines become a little bit thinner. I mean, that helps give you a really good sense of depth on the page. I mean, that's, I like that a lot. But yeah, this is a really great choice. And I agree. You know, Forever People was never one of my favorites either, but it makes you want to read this book, seeing this piece.
Yeah. Yeah. I would read Tom Fowler on this book for sure. I can tell you from this.
Right, exactly. And who was the oh, Fred Dillon. So there you go. There. I forgot the chest. See, once again, I look at the art and I don't look at whose gallery it came from. All right, well there we go. All right, so actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's see. What I should do is get over to Fred's main gallery here and add him to my watch list. There we go.
I already did that.
You already did.
He 100% earned it this week. So, and thanks to NFN for pointing that out. Good pick. Good pull.
I don't know if I've ever been in Fred's CAF gallery before. So, well, he's been a member since 2021. Okay, so all right. Well,
so is it?
Cool.
I'm sorry. Is it view all 79 new pieces? I can't see it. It's small.
Well, it's got. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Actually, well, there you go.
So
that's why I've never. So he's been a member for CAF. He's been premium, but he's new to posting. I'm gonna have to. I don't know if he became premium recently or not. I mean, that's. I get so many different emails from people, but yeah, that's interesting. So somebody who's been a member for a very long time finally took the plunge and posted 79 pieces. Wow.
Love it.
All right. Well. See, and that's what I love about CAF, because you know what was the inspiration? What took from March until the beginning of October to kind of push you over to the point of maybe they were waiting on a scanner, you know, who knows? But
if I had that Frank Whiteley Superman, I couldn't wait 2 minutes to post it, let alone how long you waited.
You're making me click on it now. Because it was funny as a small image, I thought it was Whiteley, and then I was looking at the detail. I'm like, no, that's not Whiteley, because Whiteley wouldn't have done it like that. Holy moly, look at this thing. We might just spend all night in Fred's CAF gallery.
You could for sure.
Dang. Wow. I actually have a Frank Whiteley Superman profile shot too. It's nothing like this. I love this.
Like, it's almost uncharacteristically tightly rendered, and like the stuff that's going on in the face, like he fretted over that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. He's on my watch list now, everybody. Everybody should also add Fred Dillon to their watch list, please.
Fred Dillon.
All right. Here we are. It's another Fred Dillon, but maybe it is all Fred Dillon tonight. That's all right.
I know it's not all Fred Dillon, I promise, because I wasn't even conscious of who it was, but I guess I have to say Fred Dillon and I have similar tastes. So I picked this mostly because I don't think we've seen Doc Shaner on the show. I don't think he's been picked. I don't even think he's been picked on Collector Conversations, but I'm a big Doc Shaner fan. He's not super prolific, but he's probably right now best known for doing work on Strange Adventures. He's sort of the other Adam Strange artist on that title, which with Mitch Gerrits and written by Tom King. So I think a lot of people know Doc from that. His name's Evan. People know Doc Shaner from that. But he kind of has a, like Silver Agey kind of throwback style, which I really like. It's clean. This is actually a little more cluttered than a lot of stuff that you'll typically see him do. But when you see, it's kind of Steve Root-ish, I guess, like you'll see him do Hanna-Barbera characters a lot, like Space Ghost, and he has a great affinity for, those kind of 60s Saturday morning type characters. And he is really terrific on characters like Captain Marvel and, things like that, or, Superman. So big fan of his.
There you go. And my editor, Colin, just posted, watch the featured piece of art on CAF tomorrow for Doc Shaner art.
All right.
No, very good pick there.
Thank you.
All right, and let's see. No, this is not in Dylan's gallery. This is in Victor Bracamonte's CAF gallery.
Victor, I know, is a Felix guy. He's really into a lot of Felix's artists, and Felix is a Parlov guy, as I think everybody knows. So I wasn't too surprised to see Victor post this piece. It's kind of prototypical stuff from Goran Parlov. He's really good at drawing realism and kind of brings that more open, I guess, looking European style while bringing a lot of rendering too at the same time. For my part, like if I see a Parlov piece, the likelihood that I'm going to pick it for this if I'm on that week is really high.
Sure.
So I mean, just look at Fury's expression in that first panel. That alone is worth picking this for or buying it.
No, I mean I completely agree. I mean that's beautiful, and I do love this whole scene down here. I mean I love the, he could have done next to nothing as far as putting texture on the ground, but adding that just makes the whole piece just become, it's all tied together better, and it's beautiful.
And it's almost, the staging of it almost has a photographic quality. Like it looks like it could be, he found a photo reference like on, I'm sure he didn't obviously because of the subject matter, but it's got that quality where it's like staged like a photograph.
Right. Oh, amazing. All right. And so what is the CAF gallery owner? Oh, Jonathan Mueller. All right. Very nice.
So I picked this one for personal, deep-seated anger at myself reasons. I successfully negotiated a discount on this piece with Albert several years ago. This is another one that's been on Albert's site for a pretty long time, as we were talking about earlier, and Marcus mentioned. But I successfully negotiated a discount on this piece with Albert Moy, which is like it's the mountaintop, right? And then my water heater broke. So I all but made the deal and then wasn't able to pay for it. And I've been kicking myself about it ever since. And I probably could have subsequently bought it a couple times, but I don't know, like, has anybody experienced this thing where you're like close to buying something and then you don't buy it, and because you didn't buy it, you mysteriously lose interest in buying it? That's what I did. So.
Well, that's too bad. Yeah. Because if you negotiating with Moy is an art form, so the fact that you did that and
last comment, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Let's see. I see that this at his booth every year. We had birthday.
It was on there for a long time. And actually I have the, so I worked at a comic book store for a lot of years, and we had this like light box, and you would put acetate, Marvel would send us acetates to put in it to like backlight. And they made one of this poster image for FF, and it's actually on my wall, like right there, if you could see behind my computer. And I had Mike sign it at a convention. And he unrolled, it's this big unwieldy piece of plastic, and it's like hard plastic, but it still rolls up. And he unfurled it and he said, "Oh my God, I haven't seen this in a long time. I didn't even know they made it into like, is this a light box?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he signed it. And so I had like a cool, kind of like little conversation with Mike about it. But then I saw this, years later, and that was really the reason I wanted it. But yeah, anyway.
Well, here Christopher Daly says that he doesn't feel the same. If he doesn't buy it, he just wants it all more.
I've done that too.
Exactly. Yeah, because I can't say I've had that other experience, but I can see how it could happen though. You got so disappointed that you just lost interest in the piece altogether.
Yeah, shame. Maybe it was shame. Like, I managed to beat Albert up a teeny tiny bit and then couldn't follow through on it. So I was like, oh, I can't go crawling back now.
Yep. Yeah, they probably talked about you at that booth a few times too. We had this sold to this guy, and he backed out. Darn
yeah, Albert turned to Marcus and said, "Hey, some a-hole emailed me about this the other night. I think I might sell it."
Oh man. All right. As Albert would say, next.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, J.H. Williams, and this is in Michael McIsaac's collection.
So this is a revenge pick because you picked the Batwoman cover.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. So I love DC's Golden Age characters. I think I've mentioned this before. Not that I don't want it to become like a trope or anything, but Seven Soldiers of Victory are just so cool to me. I really got into when James Robinson and Paul Smith did the Golden Age, that like prestige book that they did. Most of these characters featured heavily in that. And then one of my favorite books of all time is actually Vigilante City Lights Prairie Justice, which James Robinson wrote and then Tony Salmons illustrated most of. So again, a lot of those characters featured here, but the reason that I picked this really from an artistic perspective is I think what Williams did here artistically or stylistically is so different. And my understanding, I have this book, I don't remember reading it though, but I commented on the piece on CAF and said, what I like the most about this is each sort of pairing of characters, right? Like Stripe C and Star Spangled Kid or Dan the Dynamite and TNT, they're rendered in a different style. He illustrated them in a different way and he used different techniques, which is one of his hallmarks anyway, right? Like he's always employing like different techniques on the same piece, but like, look at how different Vigilante is illustrated compared to any of the rest of the characters on the cover. And it's almost, kind of like I said about the Forever People piece at the beginning, it's characterful. It's like, it's indicative of like each one of their individual kind of like styles, the style that he employed. And my understanding is from the owner, he actually carried that through in the story. So if you in the interiors, so each one of these characters is illustrated in their own style throughout the entirety of the book.
That's amazing. I mean, it's bad enough. Right. Oh yeah. It's like well, you picture when they did the Blade Runner book, having to like draw the characters and make them look like the movie, the actors. It's like this is like he picked a style for every character and
like a likeness.
So that's right. It's their likeness. So he has to stick to that style through the entire book. I can't even imagine how difficult that would have been. Wow. Another great pick.
Thank you.
All right. And let's see. Jeremy Pena and which missed the name. Oh, Ed M. Okay. Yeah, I've featured something from Ed before, I believe. This is a nice one.
Yeah. So an awesome tonal piece, which I think, we've kind of come to expect from Jerome Opena now. But just this piece for me is about all the different range of values. The composition is super cool and like successfully illustrating a cool cover that's basically got every character laying down is an achievement, is an achievement for sure. But I, unlike you, Bill, I have no particular affection for the X-Men. So from a character standpoint, this doesn't do a ton for me, but it's supremely well illustrated. And Opena is kind of he came along at a time where I wasn't buying a lot of comics, and so I'm guilty of like I kind of missed when he was at his I think his peak from a popularity perspective. So I came into appreciating Opena late, but I'm trying to catch up now. So again, just awesome range of value, supremely well done technique with the ink washes on this, or it might even be marker in places. I can't totally tell, but just a terrific looking image.
Well, I do like the X-Men, but I don't like them when they're beat up.
Although, is that Moira standing there like over them?
That I am not sure.
Because they probably had it coming then, right? Isn't she like the Moira
right?
Thumper?
Yes, exactly. Sorry, I was reading. Yeah, well, all right. I have that tab open. I'll be able to go back to it. I want to get a little more.
Marcus is right. I think this might be not even on the stands yet, or if it is, it's not been for long.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna save that tab and go back to it. It seemed like they had written a rather lengthy description, so
wow,
very curious. Yeah. All right, and Garrett Amato's collection, Super Patriot. Oh, Dave Johnson, very nice.
So for Fish's sake, this is a nostalgia pick on my part. This is from when I had visions of being a comic book illustrator dancing in my head, and Dave Johnson was the guy that I was stylistically trying to imitate and really look up to at the time. It was kind of like Dave Johnson or Jason Pearson, and I couldn't pick, and they were kind of similar. Cully Hamner was probably in that boat. I think it was all those Gaijin Studios guys at the time. But yeah, I mean, nothing too insanely cool about the image necessarily. Super Patriot, kind of a, you know, never was character. But yeah, so this is a pure nostalgia pick on my part. I'm sure I have this book, and I'm sure I like pored over it as a youngster.
From 94? Is that what it says on there?
Yeah, so I would have been, that was my senior year of high school.
Very nice. Let's see. There it is. Oh, Walt Simonson.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I mean, Simonson is the guy, is still the guy, even at his age. He's still working at a pretty high level, in my opinion. Some of his contemporaries, like, you know, if you see Howard Chaykin these days, he's really, you know, in my opinion, fallen off. Walt is still executing at a high level. So kind of a, I mean, I guess given Hal Jordan, kind of a, you know, easy to understand subject, but you know, the fact that he's able to like pull this whole thing together, and the graphic element with the you know, the rays coming off the ring is really cool. Really well rendered, you know, foreshortened figure. I don't know, just what do you say about Simonson?
Yeah, well, he's been one of my favorite artists for a very long time. And he's
one of the best
guy too.
Yeah.
Romaine. All right. Another piece by in Romaine's collection. Jim
Different,
Style and Al Milgram.
I couldn't not pick it. He posted several pages from this story this week, and you picked one, and I just picked one that had a bigger, you know, better image of the thing on it for obvious reasons. So
I love that.
Also, yeah, it's a Thing Hulk fight too, and
I was gonna say I think I can use some of these on Dueling Dealers.
There you go. Yeah. I know you're crumbing for Hulk Thing battle images.
Right. Well, I'm getting down to the bottom of the barrel. At least when you go to Google Images and do searches for Hulk versus Thing, yeah, it's tough, and most of them come back and they're, you know, 200 by 300 pixel size images that I can't use as a show thumbnail. So yeah, I think I'm gonna say I'm leaving that tab open too. This is a great pick though, of course.
I don't enjoy this like crisis of confidence that my guy's having in the third panel here, but yeah.
Yeah, what am I fighting this guy for? Yeah. Awesome. All right, so this is the final one. All right, so this is in Brian Lake's gallery. Nick Klein.
Yeah, so you know, Nick Klein, this run that he's kind of still doing on Thor, I think a lot of people are into for obvious and terrific reasons. How this is all, you know, obviously traditional art, right? This isn't digital, but how he's able to put these books out in a timely fashion and render them at this high quality, I have no idea. It's an achievement. Just the speed of it's an achievement, let alone the quality of the work. He's got this
really, really nice. I'd like to see a better scan of it though. It's like that piece from last week. This is great, because I know Felix doesn't post like large scans either of the artwork. You know, I think he maxes his out, I want to say like 800 pixels tall, so they're always just a little too small. But I mean, I'm sure probably he wants to keep everybody's art secure and everything. But yeah, this is one I would love to see a bigger scan of it. Oh.
Yeah, so this the ink wash, like the painterly stuff that he's doing with ink on this is just, you know, that's worth buying the book alone.
Agreed. All right. Well, Chris, that was that another great set. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yep, mission accomplished.
Thanks, Phil.
Man, no, my pleasure. So we'll have Khalil on here next week. But you're always Can I always rely on you if
Yeah.
somebody backs out or whatnot? That
I love doing this. So unless people get sick of me, I absolutely count on me.
All right, and maybe you will become a meme at some point. Maybe we'll work something out. So it's not a surprise meme. It's like we get to work on it together. But all right, well, again, I
ambush
appreciate it.
meme.
No. I only do that to Anthony, so
Yep.
and he deserves it. So all right, well, listen, thank you again, and I appreciate it. And how do you reach out to me if you ever need anything? But I'm sure we'll be talking again sometime soon.
All right. Appreciate it.
Good night. All right, everybody. So only a few more things to cover for tonight. First up, of course, is Nick Perucci has his show tomorrow at 7, and he did send me a small teaser trailer to to his show for tomorrow evening, showing off some of the artwork that will be for sale. So let me get that queued up and on the screen here.
Hey everybody, this Friday, October 8th, we have the Original Art Experience, and we've got some great new artwork, and we're going to do something really special, something similar that we did last week. So this Friday, October 8th at 7 p.m. Wow, that's actually my anniversary. I'll still be here though. We will have something from a flaker. We have a Spider-Man litho signed by John Romita Sr., John Romita Jr., and Paul Mounts. Very limited. We have an X Factor page by Joe Quesada, one of my favorite artists. We also have a What If from the first series by Ron Wilson. We will have a Batman Cool 2/3 Splash by Scott McDaniel. We're going to have Howard Porter Titans and the famous Nick Perucci ripping the art while opening it will be up for best offer, and all the money will go to charity. Plus, we'll have remarks such as this amazing Spider-Man 4-piece set that's a remark of Venom, and so much more. That's this Friday, October 8th at 7 p.m. Hope to see you there.
There you go, over on the EXP. So you can catch Nick on both YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. And he has a couple other shows during the week where I think he does some sketch covers, but mostly things related to Dynamite. But Friday is his main show. It's only an hour, 7 to 8. He sometimes has a guest on. I was a guest on at one time, but I felt like a fly on the wall because I didn't know what to say about the art he had, but it was still fun to hang out. And it is a good show. Nick's a great guy. He's my biggest cheerleader, right? He has helped us get more likes and more subscribers than anybody. Certainly than I have, because I'm not good at that and I always forget. But I just noticed that Christopher Daly had mentioned to Chris that no one's getting bored with Chris's picks, and that's very true. I love having somebody else's perspective. I mean, at the end of the day, if we could have Chris come on every week, or I really want somebody to do these picks with me. I mean, I give out the 25 pretty much on Monday. I try to get them out Monday afternoon to Chris, and so it gives people plenty of time to go back and look at the last week's artwork posted. So it's a lot of fun, and it definitely has I've got a bent on the artwork that I pick. And I'm sure it gets a little boring after a while. You guys see all that same artwork too, so I know how it is. But different, fresh eyes on the site are good. That's doing the things on the Sunday show with the collectors picking 2 pieces of art all the time has been a lot of fun. I mean, for those of you who watch that show, you know it. It's like just getting to see 8 new artworks from 4 different collectors picked is just fun to see what other people really, really like. And so I should let everybody know that there will be no Sunday show today, just because with New York Comic Con going on and everybody kind of out of pocket, or a lot of people out of pocket, we were going to skip the Sunday show. So, we'll be back in action the Sunday after that for certain. And then like I said, I'm going to be out of town. When I do that Vegas trip, it is from, I'm trying to get my calendar to work here. I'll be out of town from the 20th through the 24th. So that covers Wednesday through Sunday. So more than likely, what I do want to do is I'll probably record the CAF update. So on that week, there won't be a guest, of course, but I'll record it at least and have it queued up so that something plays on Thursday evening when I'm not here. So, so at least you'll have that, but there probably won't be a Sunday show unless I can convince James Siegel to sit in and moderate it, which he might. So we'll see. If he would do that, I would definitely be open to having a show that evening, even though I'd be out of town on the 24th. But yeah, outside of that, I think I've got it all in. A 2 hour and 40-minute show, thanks to the first hour and 20 devoted to Metropolis. But I hope everybody enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. And I really do hope that we get to do more of those with Metropolis. I mean, it's now that we're coming out of COVID, if they could do 3 of those shows a year, I think it'd be great if I could sit in and help them do their premieres and whatnot. And even sitting in on a gallery opening would be fun too. Being in a Zoom call with them and seeing the everything going on when people are actually at the exhibit would be pretty cool. They should consider doing that anyway, as far as on their openings. I mean, they might look at it and say, well, if I do that, then people won't show up. But I don't think that's true. They should do it for everybody who's not able to be in New York for a opening like that. And hey, Jordan, I did get your email, and I'll get back to you on those on your thoughts. But I'm glad you appreciated Maureen's package. She came running in when she found this stuff because she's been doing a little bit of going through some old boxes and things that we've had for a while. And we used to collect a lot of, because went to Hawaii about 20 years ago, and she had a thing for them. So she had picked up a few things, and her parents had given her some things. So that what you wrote was really was funny, that you were familiar with everything that she had in that she sent you. So yes, bring the Dino, as Marcus would say. I agree. Dino could do a sit-in. I'll ask. Hey, I'll throw it out there. It'd be cool. I mean, Dino and Mikhail did a great job hosting the collector chat when I was away. Probably a much better job than I do. So I think if they would be willing to do it, I would be perfectly happy if they would. So we'll see. I'll try to make it so we don't miss a week. I hate missing weeks, and I knew going into it that we weren't going to do one this Sunday, thanks to New York Comic Con. But so let's see. Bootlegging says to Jason that there was so much X-Men stuff today. See, I'm missing out. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. So let's see. I'll need to check out new CAF member Tim J. His gallery is top notch. All right, I'm making a note to check out Tim J's CAF gallery as well. Well, I'm glad I found out about the Dylan one. I had seen like 1 or 2 of those pieces, but I wasn't paying that close attention. Jeez, man, somebody's be telling me what I missed out on at the show today, well, or probably not. Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see the art drop tomorrow at Metropolis. So I'm going to be tuning in at 6 o'clock just to see if the what other artworks are there. Some of those X-Men prelims from Simone looked really cool, and I'm sure the stuff that Ken brought is going to be really nice as well. And I'm sure a lot of it is going to sell tomorrow. So have Felix do a crossover box opening. Yeah, there you have it. That's a very good idea, Marcus. I like Felix's box openings. Those are a lot of fun. It always reminds me. It's like that top down view. I don't know. It's an interesting approach to doing a box opening, but fits perfect for the way Felix handles those. They're a lot of fun, and he has a good turnout for them as well. So I commend him on coming up with something that's very unique and very Felix that no other rep is doing. So and yes, David, we need Marcus as a guest someday. When Marcus is ready, he will let me know, and we will have Marcus on the show. He's a busy guy, and so his schedule doesn't really fit perfectly with mine, even though he's here in the chat all the time. And he's the biggest commenter. And hey, Marcus, I will let you know that I talked with Maureen today because I gave her a short list of things that I wanted her to work on. And one of them was a top commenter list all time. So, based on users. So just to kind of give us a top-down perspective on who's posted the most comments all time, and then to kind of be able to do a little bit of filtering by year. I thought that would be cool. One thing, and I know, Jason, you're going to love to hear this. She actually started working today on the ability to see who's watching your CAF gallery. So when you're on your dashboard and it lets you know that 90 people are watching your CAF gallery, that will be a link to see exactly who is watching your CAF gallery. I've finally taken the plunge, and I feel it's needed. The time has come. I've only been asked about it for 16 years now, so I hope everybody appreciates it. I think it might be live tomorrow, but worst case scenario, it'll be live on Monday. And outside of that, we are going to provide everybody with the country views that has come up with quite a bit of late, with people wanting to know other collectors that are in France. And when we add that into the site, we will also add in the option for people who are in the U.S. to at least state which state they're from as well. So it'll be something you'll have to go back and edit. So if you're saying, if you've already set yourself as United States as your country of origin, you're going to have to go back in and set your state. So it's unfortunate, but it's going to, you'll have to do it. But I'll put that in a mailing probably and push that out to everybody so they know. But I just want to try to focus on collectors. And I'm still trying to think of, I know because it came up in conversation recently about the site searches and how, like you can't type in Bill Cox Thor and then see any Thor artwork that's in my CAF gallery. So Maureen and I talked about that today as far as like trying to figure out how far we could push that kind of programming. I did tell her that I wanted on the a near-term roadmap was to have a site search integrated into everybody's CAF gallery. So you could just go to Jason's CAF gallery and search for Magneto, and you'll get to see all the Magneto artwork that he's got, or all the Kubert artwork he has in his CAF gallery. So that's something that we can achieve and probably get done sometime in November. But but I want to try to hit on some of these things that you guys have been asking me about for a very long time, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. And I think it's going to be fun. And how about a top commenter of 2021? I'm still new to our community. Well, definitely. And I think that there's a lot of things that we can do. And I think it was fun. We had a really good time last year when we did the best of 2020 show. I thought it was like an award ceremony. And I've been looking at some other metrics like that: top commenters, top posters, probably people who've gotten most views, those sorts of things. I think we can, pieces added in the year that got the most eyeballs on them, or the most comments, the most likes, or most favorited. I think we can turn the best of ceremony into something a little bit bigger and more fun and more community centric than we ever have in the past. I know that I think everybody would appreciate that. Like I said, I've always turned a blind eye to the community as that you guys were having all this fun together, and I just didn't know it on CAF. Well, I think kind of awarding or rewarding, I guess those sorts of things would be a lot of fun. And I've talked with Maureen about a few different ways that we can add in some badges and things like that would appear in the green profile section that is within your CAF gallery, whether you're on artwork, in a room, or on your homepage. So, and tying those into actual awards that were given out from Best of as well. So, and somebody had come up with a great idea, like if I've interviewed you on a CAF update or on a collector chat, that we have a way to flag that such that it can be linked in and out from your CAF gallery as well. So I really do want to spend a considerable amount of time focusing back on the collector community, and how can I make it more fun and engaging for you guys to interact with the site. So I look forward to doing that. And if anybody has any ideas, feel free to share them with me, because at the end of the day, this is all for you. And David Matheny said something about fantasy artwork galleries top notch as well. Yep. And speaking of that, I can actually share. I mean, not that I know most of everybody here is not interested in fantasy art, but I did finally start the Kickstarter for my other project, that Infected by Art book. So I'll end up linking it in the show description or something, but I can show it here. But it wasn't a big goal, because we were really just kind of covering some of the production costs and the delivery from China. So the book is due to be in a few weeks, but as a Kickstarter, I was happy. We did it today and it's already got back. So that's always nice. We had never done Kickstarter to kind of handle that part of the production. It's something that we've kind of always just spent our own money on to cover getting some of the work done, and then getting the books delivered And this was the first year where we said, well, let's just see if we can't get it out there and get a little support from the people in the science fiction fantasy community who have supported the book for 9 years. And it worked out well. I think like next year we'll probably do something a little bit bigger and earlier and tie in some different rewards, because it'll be our 10th issue next year. And one of the guys that I do the book with was considering doing something like they do with the IX show, which is he was going to commission 4 artists to do work that we would do for like variant covers for the 10th edition. Because when this guy actually started the book, he started the first one. I came in with the second book, and when he did the first one, he did actually do 4 like variant books for that hardcover. So he's thinking, this would be a fun thing to do on the 10th one. So I said, hey, as long as you're paying for the commissions and they're yours and they're not mine, I mean, I'm good for it, because I don't have the money to commission some of the people that he wants to talk with, because he's going to be at the IX show in a few weeks, since I'm not there, and he'll be speaking to some people, and he'll be selling books at that show. So at any rate, I'm very happy that we got the Kickstarter out of the way, and because that was something that I agonize over every year is the book sales on that. I mean, you guys, being primarily involved in CAF, don't get to see that, but it's something that I probably spend far more time on it than I should. But it is my pet project that I really love, because the creators are fun. It's a collecting community that I wouldn't say, I certainly don't know as well as this one, but I like everybody engaged in it. It's a community where you actually get to know the art directors as well, no matter whatever level you're involved in it, whether you're a collector or clearly an artist. The art directors are like always around. So at any show, I mean, they kind of have their own personalities that everybody gets to know, and it's very unique. And one of the people, the third person who works with me on the book, was a past art director for Wizards of the Coast, and he's worked with Bethesda Gaming for a long time, and does his own imprint. So it's just neat to be able to work with people who've been that close and involved with games of my youth, like Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. And so I have a lot of fun doing that project, though I don't make hardly any money at it, but it's a definite joy to be a part of. So anyways, I think I'm going to call it a night. And David, I appreciate you backing that. Yep, I am definitely again, I sincerely appreciate the support. It means a lot. And and I would sign it. I actually, we used to do a variant when we had the book at IX, and it would get signed by Pat and Jeannie, who run that show, and then I would sign it, and we would get everybody who was an award winner would also sign that book. But because of COVID, we didn't do that last year, and we're not doing it this year. But hopefully with volume 10, we're going to kind of get back into that kind of a groove of getting everybody who's involved with the book to do a signing and do a limited run of those. So, all right. Well, again, I'm at my 3-hour mark here, and I definitely turn into a pumpkin at this point. So I appreciate everything, everybody, and I hope you can tune in on Saturday. I know so many of you are going to be at New York Comic Con, but at 5 p.m. Eastern, Berkey and I will do a fun art drop, and I think the prices on the art are going to run the gamut, probably between the low end, probably around $250 to start, and it'll probably go on up to around 10. I think is about what he probably, and he and I talked. I said I wouldn't want to go over that. So we'll see. It'll be 50 new artworks that haven't been seen in a long while. We'll dust them all off like good archaeologists and present them to you on Saturday at 5. And I hope to see you there. So Ron, I just saw your email as well, Ron. I'm actually looking at the logo there. So I'm glad. Marcus. Yes, it's going to be a claim sale on the chat. Exactly. Not like when I do the art drops with the artists. Everything will be in the chat, and we will do a recap. I mean, there are 50 pieces. I mean, I guess that's normal what we do on a low end show. So I think with just being with Mike, we should be able to get through it. I mean, it's still probably going to go an hour and 40 minutes, but we'll try to go through it as quickly as possible so it doesn't drag out. But at least everything's priced. It won't be like our last bin dive. So again, thank you everybody, and send a couple of new. Yes, Ron. Yep. Like I said, I'm looking at him right now. Bindiana Jones. And that was funny. Somebody in the chat. I get my best ideas from the chat, and so I wish I should write down who says something. But it was when we were talking about doing the bin dive, somebody in the chat typed bin Deanna Jones, and I was like, that's just perfect. Why didn't I think of that? Because you guys thought of it. That's why we everything I do is patterned after things that you guys want in one way or another. So thank you very much, Ron. I do appreciate it. Ron did the logo that you saw on the little trailer, and I'm going to use this one when I put together the final intro that will play on Saturday. So thank you very much, Ron. And as Nick would say, anybody who's been watching the show, hit the like button for me. And if you're not already subscribed, please do. It's the one thing, subscriptions or notifications. Notifications is the big thing. It's what I've learned. It's funny. I was looking at YouTube stats. It turns out that only about 10% of the people who subscribe to the channel actually turn on notifications. And the notifications are kind of the cool part that lets you know, like if you forgot I was going to be on, they'll ping you like 20 minutes out to say, hey, Bill's going to be on in 20 minutes. So it kind of gives you time to get home and maybe get situated so you can watch a show. So if anybody hasn't done that, when you've subscribed to the channel, just by clicking the subscription button, there's like a bell. Click the bell as well, because if you click the bell, then you'll at least get a reminder every time we're going live, and you won't miss something if you've forgotten about it. Because like I said, when I looked at the stats, we have like 2,300 people who are subscribed, but I think it's actually less than 230 people who turned on notifications. I think it's in the hundreds somewhere. So, it's good that people are subscribing, because that actually gets it into their list when they're on YouTube or whatnot. But without the notifications turned on, you're really just kind of catching a lot of that stuff after the fact. So just a thought. Hit the bell. That's right, Marcus. All right, everybody. I am going to hit the bell myself and play my trailer and get out of here. So again, have a wonderful night, a wonderful Friday, everybody at New York. I hope you have a great show. And again, tune in on Saturday at 5 o'clock.